All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another installment of Good Old Wrasslin. Today, we are talking wrestling. Now, before we begin, we obviously have to do the disclaimer usually. Disclaimer, we are going to have differing opinions. Chat, we're all humans. If we don't have differing opinions, then we're just bland. We're like vanilla ice cream. Bland. So, you know what? If you guys don't like it, well then, just get over it, you crybabies. But with that being said, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Good Old Wrasslin Episode 2, the show that nobody wanted, but they're getting anyway. Today, we are going to be reviewing Survivor Series, NXT Takeover WarGames, but also getting into some topics that are going to be very interesting. And I have my usual co-host, Deshaun Wiggins. Say hello, Deshaun.
What's up, everyone?
And our new guest, making his debut on the channel, Rambling Canuck, a.k.a. Mr. McMahon.
Hello.
And we got Arrow in the house, Oliver Queen, what's up? And today we're gonna just talk wrestling. It's gonna be a very, very fun stream. So before we begin, Rambling, tell everybody what they can find you at.
Well, I'm either at Rambling Canuck here on YouTube or History with R&R is my secondary channel where we cover history and all that fun stuff. Rambling Canuck is more just sci-fi and karaoke streams. And once in a while, I piss everybody off and I go into my wrestling mode because, well, I know everything all the way back to Crockett. So, yeah.
Very nice. Deshaun, where can they find you at?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, KingWillie23. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord server. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel.
Very nice. Now, I have a YouTube channel, the one you're watching right now. I actually just reached 100 subscribers, or over 100 subscribers. I don't really have a subscriber goal at the moment, so if you guys haven't subscribed, just, subscribe. I do a bunch of shows during the week. I got a show on Sundays called Shadow Eye where we review The Office. We're reviewing season 3 on Sunday, and then Thursdays I do Splash Talk where we read fan fiction, and then I do a show like this here on Fridays where we just talk wrestling, and I do gaming streams of God of War throughout the week. Also, I have Twitter at the Osnator17. So if you guys want to message me there, message me over there. And also, I have Discord at the Osnator, so hit me up there too. And with that being said, let's get started, shall we? First, we're gonna save one of the reviews for later. But first, let's talk about Survivor Warfare, Brand Warfare, Survivor Series. And now, I think we've all seen this show. I think.
I did.
Did you see?
I watched the last 10 minutes, the only important part about the whole thing, which was The Undertaker retiring. Oh, sorry, did I blow that out of the water?
No, you're good.
Fuck.
So let's.
But before we get there, though, you have to think about how stupid Survivor Series is placed now.
Yeah.
Because Survivor Series, just on the build-up, is the dumbest concept known to man. And they really need to switch it. Because Survivor Series is built on, it's the one time a year that SmackDown and Raw face up against each other, except for all the other times they do. And not to mention, right before this, big meeting of the brands, they do the goddamn draft. So 90% of the people that are wrestling for blue were red 2 weeks ago. And the people wrestling for the Reds for Raw were on SmackDown 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and we're actually going to get into that when we get into the Tag Team Championship match.
Debacle? That was stupid.
But first, let's talk about the pre-show. There was actually a interbrand battle royal. Here's actually some of the participants in the match. We had John Morrison, who was on the pre-show. This is the pre-show, by the way. John Morrison, Kalisto, Rey Mysterio, Humberto Carrillo, and Angel Garza, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Murphy, Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, Elias, Jeff Hardy, Chad Gable, Dominic Mysterio, and The Miz.
Yeah, well, you see, you didn't introduce John Morrison correctly. John Morrison, the only person that can keep The Miz relevant in 2020.
Unfortunately, that's true. But I have a bone to pick with this match. First of all, the people they have on this pre-show is sickening. First of all,
pre-show, nobody watches it.
You have Rey Mysterio, a former world champion, on your pre-show.
Not to mention the ending. That hasn't been done before, right?
Yeah, the Miz rolls under the rope. Then you had Chad Gable and Dominic go after each other for a while, and then Dominic eliminates Chad, thinks he wins, and then the Miz eliminates him.
Yeah, isn't that done like every battle royal now? That's like the staple ending. Somebody got eliminated but didn't. Oh wait, they're back. That's like the staple. That's like
exactly.
Fuck.
And can I just talk about the Miz being Mr. Money in the Bank? The Money in the Bank contract means nothing now.
No.
It means absolutely nothing. First of all, they ruined the Money in the Bank when they had Otis win. That was insulting. I mean,
well, to be fair, the diehard fans, or in the wrestling terminology, the marks, wanted him to win. So, in a sense, that was WWE listening to the fans. The only problem is they took it away from him. But he was never going to win the title. And
so it basically made giving him the briefcase pointless.
Yeah, and then and it was a feel-good moment for one night. It kind of goes back to a couple of Money in the Banks a couple years ago when they did the first ever women's Money in the Bank and a guy won it. I mean, I'm just saying.
James Ellsworth won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
It's so bad they had to redo it on Monday.
James No Chin Ellsworth won the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, that was the same year where Jinder Mahal was the WWE champion.
Oh, God, that was a fucking failed experiment.
Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Jinder Mahal was a WWE champion.
Yep.
Gotta love that India market. Anyway.
Fuck. Oh, my God. So, The Miz won the Battle Royal, giving Raw 1 point. This was stupid. Deshaun, what did you think of the Battle Royal?
I didn't care about the Battle Royal. John Morrison was the first one eliminated, so I did care. The Miz won it, did care. I actually thought 10 out of 10 Dominic Mysterio gonna win, but technically I don't care about the Battle Royal. But I am mad about John Morrison be the first one eliminated. Why? Joe, why WWE? Why?
And you know what's sick? You know what sucks? You know, there's gonna be a future episode where we're gonna have to talk about like which NXT call-up got fucked the worst. Dude, Bobby Roode got fucked the worst.
No, Asuka. Yeah. Sorry, that's hands down Asuka.
And I would agree with you. Because, I mean, other than her winning a bunch of championships, she's not really relevant.
Or then again, Finn Balor, he got effed up so much, he's back on NXT.
And guess what? He's doing better there than on the main roster.
Yep.
He's their world champion, not on the main roster. That is depressing.
Oh, you want to talk about Alpha? What about Tyler Breeze?
Oh, yeah, he was a tool to begin with. I hated that gimmick.
Ascension.
Yeah, Ascension got screwed.
The Ascension was, I don't know. They suffer from the same thing that most tag teams do. There's no real reason for them to be there.
Yeah. And they're well, I also say like because they're the longest reigning tag champs, I was actually surprised they didn't actually do anything with them. That was the thing that was like, really?
No, because they're too busy promoting the New Day.
Oh,
and the Usos.
Oh, I got one. What about the Revival?
Oh yeah, the Revival. Yeah, that was. But in a way, I kind of get it why the Revival got screwed, and it was because you're going in. If they had showed up during the Attitude Era, they'd been fine. If they would have showed up during the Aggression Era, they would have been fine. The problem is they're doing proper wrestling when that doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist in the WWE. It doesn't exist in AEW, and I don't care what anybody says. AEW is the biggest joke going. But
Oh, go ahead.
But I mean, now they're. Just look what AEW did. AEW gets them biggest, in my opinion, their biggest get, even more than having Moxley or whatever you want to call him these days. Getting them was the biggest thing. First big time match that they get against the New Bucks. The New Bucks win. What the fuck? Just saying.
Arrow said Ricochet.
Ricochet got screwed too.
But
in a way, I mean, I kind of understand that too because he's a little guy, and we all know what Vince thinks of little guys. Just ask Mysterio.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that WWE title reign that lasted only an hour, and then John Cena happened.
Yeah. Well, that's no different than Yokozuna beating Bret Hart and then Hulk Hogan to the rescue.
Oh man, that was bad. Damn. But let's second match on the card. Team Raw. This is your Team Raw, ladies and gentlemen. AJ Styles with Omos, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. I didn't say Matt Riddle because Riddle is now his name. Mm-hmm. They faced Team SmackDown, which consists of, I shit you not,
Chump 1, Chump 2, Chump 3, Chump 4, Chump 5.
Yes. Team SmackDown, which consists of, I shit you not, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis.
Okay, so Seth Rollins gets himself eliminated by eating a bro kick. Begging for a bro kick, I might add.
Dude,
and then basically Raw kills SmackDown, making SmackDown look like absolute fucking chumps.
This was bad too. I was like, what?
This is what you call a storyline match written terrible. I like the idea of Roman and Uso, that combination. The problem is you did that storyline at the sacrifice of every other motherfucker on that team. Sorry, am I allowed to swear on this channel?
Yes, you are allowed to swear.
Okay. Yeah, you did it at the sacrifice of everyone else on that. You made them all look like chumps. Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to go through the order of eliminations. Seth Rollins got eliminated first. This man legit sacrificed himself. He's like, just bro kick me. I'm done. I'm going to quit. Because the man's a bitch.
Bro kick me. Just bro kick me because I've already been paid. Next.
Yeah. So then the second man eliminated on that team, Kevin Owens, the man who's going to be facing Roman Reigns for the Universal title on Sunday, got eliminated second. Congrats, WWE. AJ Styles pinned him. The third man eliminated, King Corbin. Why was King Corbin here?
Why does he still have the King gimmick? For the love of God. Even Sheamus learned to drop that after a while. Anyway, moving on.
Then Otis got eliminated. I don't understand why he wasn't the first one eliminated. Why did it have to be Kevin Owens? And then Jey Uso had a valiant effort, and he ends up getting eliminated by Keith Lee. What does it really matter? But this match sucked. So every member of Team Raw survived. this match, giving Raw the 2-point lead. This match was awful. This probably was the worst match of the night. Actually, I'm going to say this. I'm going to spoil the other elimination match. Both elimination matches sucked.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
When we get to the women, I got nothing to say about that one.
But, Deshaun, what did you think of the elimination match for the men?
Alright then. It was boring. It was stupid. Seth Rollins was the first one eliminated. When you got a former world champion getting eliminated first, it always open for me. Second was Carol Orban. Why? Third was Barry Corbin. Why he won the match? Otis sure got eliminated first. Jey Uso, okay, he was the last one. Okay, and Walsh, as you divide. Now Walsh Superstar got eliminated at all. And
Well, and to give me my point earlier, right? Right before this was the draft, right?
yes,
So for a whole fucking year, you had Seth Rollins as the savior of Raw. Now fighting for SmackDown because he got drafted to SmackDown 2 weeks earlier.
Like I didn't understand that for real. Like how you have the Superstar who came from Raw, right? And now they gotta fight for SmackDown. You want to be on SmackDown 2 weeks in the whole year you be on Raw. How?
Yeah.
Like why?
Now, backstage, this was during the show, but I want to get to this now. Basically, Roman's telling off Jay backstage about how he's a fucking loser and that you suck and that you'll never have a place at my table because you couldn't even get the job done. And Jay's like, no. Listen, it was 5 on Wednesday. And then Roman's like, too bad. Dude, I love this Roman, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the best thing going in the WWE right now is Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And then Roman just tells Jay, I don't even need you, just leave. And then Jimmy's like, no, come on, man, that's not cool. And then he's like, you can leave too. And then they just leave. It's like, man, dude, this Roman is great. I love him.
Yeah. Heel Roman is the best Roman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of brand switches, this is actually a very interesting matchup. The Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, took on, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, faced the New Day, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions.
But again, to preface this match, this is stupid. Because they're wearing the wrong colors again. Because the Street Profits, for the last part of the year, have been Raw's tag team division. They have carried Raw's tag team division on their back. And now they're fighting for SmackDown. The New Day have been carrying the SmackDown tag team division on their back for the better part of 6 years. What brand are they fighting for? Raw.
Let's be honest though. WWE tag team division is trash.
It just makes no sense. How are you supposed to believe that the guys that built Raw tag team division are fighting for SmackDown?
And I agree with that. That was logical stuff. That's stupid.
And let's see. What did they do? Oh, yeah. The way the belts were changed over. They just handed them different belts.
Yeah, that was
basically the handover. Fucking stupid.
That was basically the story of the match. So they were both champions on the other brand, and then they switched titles, and then they're fighting for respect or whatever, and then there you go. That's your story going into the match. So Big E comes out with them, even though Big E's on SmackDown. They wore their Gears of War thing because of the game. The Street Profits do a backstage promo beforehand. They do the typical Street Profit match where Montez gets hurt, and then they work over Montez, and then Angelo Dawkins gets the hot tag. They do their moves, and then more tag team craziness, and then there you go. The Street Profits win. That was basically the match. The overall match wasn't bad. I would say it's probably one of the better matches of the show, but I agree. Logically, makes no sense.
No. It should have been the other way around. Especially considering you think about it this way. It's supposed to be Raw versus SmackDown. Well, you associate the Street Profits with Raw by this point. You don't associate them with SmackDown. You associate the New Day with SmackDown, not Raw.
And
it just...
I want to bring this up. I think the New Day are kind of overrated now.
Big E needs a single run.
Yes. Like, I just think they need to break apart the New Day because the gimmick has just finally ran its course.
They can't. There's too much dollars and cents behind it, and the merch is still moving.
Arrow said, not a fan of the Street Profits.
Neither am I. They suck. But that's my humble opinion. I don't like their promo work. But then again, I could say that about almost everybody on the roster at this point. Promos are a dying art.
Yeah. Again, that's another thing. The Street Profits are overrated too because I just can't buy them being the tag team champions this long. I just don't buy it.
The Street Profits are a sideshow.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thing that pisses me off most is that they became Triple Crown champions by just having the SmackDown belts just hand over to them.
Yep.
You didn't vacate them. You didn't just be like, oh, we're going to host a tournament and then we're going to have whoever wins. Nope, here you go. Here's your belts.
Yep.
Good Lord. It's just like a Looney Tune factory over there.
Like, okay, here go the title. We don't care about the tag team division. Here you go your blue your title there. So now you just
but we did forget to mention one thing. One title change. We forgot to mention the title change. Survivor Series.
Oh, the Drew?
We forgot to mention that the Gobbledygooker got the frickin' 24-hour title because frickin' reasons.
Yeah, so basically, they had frickin'... So the Gobbledygooker debuted the same night as The Undertaker. Mm-hmm. So technically, we're celebrating 30 years of the Gobbledygooker. And he won the 24/7 title from R-Truth. Yeah. And let me just say, the 24/7 thing, it was good like a couple years ago, but now it's just overdone.
It's the modern version of the 24-hour hardcore championship. That's what it is. It's the modern version, except less cool.
Like the hardcore title, like they didn't even need to get rid of it.
Right? It's the same gimmick, just different title. But it's the same damn gimmick as the 24-hour hardcore title. And that ran out of steam quicker than this. I mean, this is just being dragged out. But, I mean, it's a bullshit title nobody cares about. I mean, R-Truth is what? The 46th, has it 46 times or some shit?
I think so. They have a chicken win the 24/7 champion. Good work.
Now, Deshaun, what was your thoughts on the tag team title champions versus champions match?
I thought it was a good match, but it didn't mean the story of the match. Well, we just changed titles. But besides that, I thought the match was good. Yeah, I thought it was good.
And now moving on to the mid-card titles, Bobby Lashley with MVP Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, also known as the Hurt Business, faced Sami Zayn, who was the Intercontinental Champion. If you told me in the year 2020 that Sami Zayn would be not only the Intercontinental Champion, but be better than he was back in 2016, I would have been like, no, you're joking.
Sami Zayn makes a good chicken shit heel. He always has.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would just like to say that Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business is probably is the only good thing about Raw.
It's the best use of Bobby Lashley they've done since he was in WWE, period. First or second run.
Yep. And I've heard this comparison, I just heard this over the internet. Like, MVP was like the return that nobody really cared for until it actually happened.
MVP I was never a fan of, even back in the day. He's not good on the mic. His matches can be a little bit. It's basically to push Lashley. And I agree with Kevin Blair. They are a little overrated, but at the moment they're at least when they have something to do, they're not bad. But I mean, think about it this way: they really dropped the ball with another group that they brought to Raw in another invasion angle, because WWE does invasion angles so well.
Oh God, Retribution.
Yeah. Wasn't the Hurt Business supposed to take those bastards out? Just saying. And that went off like a fart in church.
You know what's funny? Retribution got buried twice in one night. First, they lost to the Hurt Business, then the Fiend showed up and basically just took a shovel.
Destroyed every last one of them. Yep.
Like, my God.
I mean, that was a burying that even would have made Triple H blush.
Like, Triple H just has the golden shovel. He gives it to the Fiend. Here you go. Just bring it back when you're done.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. But I think what I like about this match...
Triple H versus Booker T?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, the one where Triple H hits Booker T with a pedigree, and then Triple H waits basically like a minute before covering him and winning.
Yeah, WrestleMania was great.
Oh, my God, that was awesome. But the thing about Lashley versus Zayn here, I like that it plays to each other's strengths. Like, Zayn was the chicken shit heel. He was the cowardly one, and you have Bobby Lashley, who has, the Hurt Business, and he's the powerhouse. And I like that, even though the last time Zayn and Lashley faced off was absolute garbage, at least they played into the whole Vertigo thing, and Zayn used that to almost pin Lashley, which I thought that was cool.
The problem with it, though, is if you're looking at this from the old school eyes, right? They committed the deadly sin. You don't put two baby faces in the same ring, and you don't put two heels in the same ring. And that's exactly what they did here. The Hurt Business are heels. Sami Zayn is a heel.
Oh, that is a good point.
Hold on, technically a Hurt Business is not a heel, technically.
I mean, I thought the last time I checked, the Hurt Business were heels.
Yeah, they're heels.
Hurt Business could be a baby face or a heel. They are tweener. But in the storyline with the New Day, they're a heel. So technically,
they're supposed to be a heel faction, but in the modern day, yeah, I mean, there are no heels, there are no baby faces. Then there's no storyline, and it sucks.
Yep.
Anyway. Just saying.
Indeed. So Lashley wins the match with the Hurt Lock, I think it's called. It's basically the Master Lock. So this gives Raw the lead 3-1. Remember how WWE had that deal with Fox? You would think that they would use this show to make them look good. 3-1. Awesome.
Raw, here's the problem. Okay, I don't care how much Fox pays to WWE. Raw will always be the main show, and anybody who thinks otherwise needs to go and hit the pipe, because McMahon will always put Raw above SmackDown all day long.
Yep.
No, I would agree with that.
Always come out on top, because Raw is always show A, and SmackDown will always be show B.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, if you need proof of that, go back in time to when we had the SmackDown 5. And if you don't know who the SmackDown 5 is, you haven't been a wrestling fan long enough. Anyway, even when they had the SmackDown 5, Raw was still the show. Raw superstars were still the shit.
Yeah. And so even with like the two Guerreros, Angle, Edge, Mysterio, and then the other person, It actually they focused more on Triple H and his shovel rather than the great talent that they had on SmackDown. Because if you want to be technical, too, if we're looking at back then, SmackDown was the better show.
Well, okay, I'll put it to you this way. Okay, it was said once in an on-air promo, but it was referencing the SmackDown 5. Okay, do you know why JBL became champion?
Because there was no one for Eddie to fight.
No, because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Plain and simple. Triple H didn't want to work Thursdays or whenever SmackDown was on at that point.
Man, that
You
was
talk about,
some.
you talk about when Triple H got drafted to SmackDown, but he went back Raw.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I mean, let's just bury SmackDown while we're at it.
SmackDown had the title, and then what? Triple H shows up on Raw. Eric Bischoff brings the golden belt and hands it to Triple H.
Yep.
And therefore, the WWE title no longer mattered.
Until then, it got brought back to Raw. Then it did matter.
Back to the Raw. Then it mattered again.
It disappointed. The WWE Championship on SmackDown don't mean actually meant it, but the WWE Championship on Raw means something. That don't make any sense. Like in 2015, the Universal Champion been made a man WrestleMania over the WWE Champion. How?
Oh, well, that's simple. It was Brock Lesnar.
Man. So next up, actually, the women's match. Let's get into this women's match here. Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't know how she's been champion this long. She usually loses at the first title defense. I was surprised Bayley actually lost. Took on Asuka, who's the Raw Women's Champion.
Yep.
Who would have thought in 2020 Asuka would be a Raw Women's Champion? The way she was going, I didn't think she was going to win it at all.
Asuka's champion because a certain ex-MMA fighter is taking family time. Did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
So basically, the story of the match: Sasha Banks has beaten Asuka, and it's playing into the story beforehand that Asuka beat Sasha Banks at SummerSlam when Asuka basically lost to Bayley the first match of the show. I thought the match overall was okay. It was what it was. The story made sense. I mean, both are baby faces here, even though to me, this whole Sasha Banks and Asuka, we've already seen this match at SummerSlam. Do we really need to see it again?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they should have kept the belt on Bayley.
Yeah.
Going into this, it should have been Bayley versus Asuka. But then they did the last minute title change.
And that beyond though, Asuka turned heel and babyface in the same week. Y'all didn't know that?
They do that every week. It depends on what they're doing.
I think the Big Show has had more turns than Asuka.
Oh yeah.
Oh no! The Big Show. Oh God. I mean.
I'm actually going to be honest, though. The Big Show is really not that bad.
No.
The problem with the Big Show is what do you do? Right? He's even if you put him up against Braun Strowman, if the Big Show hits him in real life, we're looking at this realistically. The Big Show hits him. This is the end of the fight. Now, if you want to talk about really dumb matches, you go back and you watch Big Show versus Rey Mysterio when Rey Mysterio won.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then you see some interesting freaking choreograph. I'll tell you that much.
All I could just think of when you talk about Mysterio Big Show was when in 2003 when Big Show strapped Mysterio onto a stretcher and then used him as a baseball bat and hit him into the ring post.
Uh-huh.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. But again, I thought the story in the match was good for what it was. Sasha Banks beats Asuka via roll up after a nice little back and forth. Again, Asuka losing here was stupid. It doesn't really make any sense because Asuka beat Sasha Banks multiple times, and even when Sasha Banks did win, it really wasn't a win.
No, it was a cheeky win.
Yeah, and so I can't buy that magically Sasha Banks can now magically just pin Asuka clean. And that was dumb. And just, I thought the match overall was okay. It was, for what it was fine. Deshaun, what do you think about Sasha Banks versus Asuka?
All I gotta say is that the match was okay. That's all I gotta say. It was okay. And also, WWE won also, and finally Sasha Banks gonna have no title reign. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Very, very nicely put. Next up, the women's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw, which consists of the women's tag team champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Remember when she was the longest?
The only reason I have a job is because I'm related to The Rock. Anyway, carry on.
Remember when Shayna Baszler was the longest reigning NXT women's champion? Remember when she faced Becky Lynch at WrestleMania for the women's title? Now she's in a tag team with Nia Jax and they're the champions. Who would have thunk? Lana was part of Team Raw. Why?
Oh, God.
Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. What a team. Versus Team SmackDown, which consists of Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. I don't know if I would be the one to tell you, but there is one team that I think deserved the win more. And my God, this elimination match sucked.
But wasn't Lana's win stunning and awesome? And it showed a babyface comeback and face adversity and overcome all the odds. And oh wait, no, she just stood up on the freaking apron at the steps and won because everybody else got eliminated. Never mind.
God, this match was bad. So I just want to get to the eliminations because I actually have a lot to say about this whole. First, Bayley got eliminated first. The longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion got eliminated first.
Wow.
Why?
Yep.
Because she was like, "This is a dumpster fire, and I want out."
Probably. Then Peyton Royce got eliminated.
I got a problem with that one.
Which, thank God, Jesus. Natalya got eliminated by Lacey Evans.
Didn't care about that one.
And then Shayna Baszler eliminated Ruby Riott. Lacey Evans then got eliminated. I'm not even going to go into specifics because I really just don't care about any of these people. Liv Morgan then got eliminated. And then Shayna Baszler got eliminated by disqualification.
Uh-huh.
So I really just love how they just fucked over Shayna Baszler again. Great. And then to top it all off, Nia Jax and Bianca Belair got counted out, and Lana was the survivor for Team Raw. That was So I just want to point out, Lana is the same person who got put through an announce table multiple times, 9 times straight, by the way. She was the sole survivor for Team Raw.
Yeah, but okay, if they had told the story properly, right? What should have happened was, okay, you want the double count out? Fine, you have the double count out. But then you have one surviving member of Raw, and it comes down to Lana. And Lana gets a cheeky win, a cheeky pin, something. And Lana wins legit. Then you have a payoff. Because you have when Lana's being forced into the ring, being the sole survivor, everybody's, well, Raw's fucked now. And then she wins. She actually wins. Then you have a story to go on. But doing it this way, it's like, well, Lana won because she did what her bullies told her to do and stands on the freaking ring steps.
Remember how they have this anti-bullying campaign?
Oh, yeah. When it suits them, yes, they do.
Is it sad that I wanted Lana to be put through the table after the match was over because I was so pissed?
They couldn't because they had to have the botched table spot in the final.
That is true. And I kind of used the Lana thing where she was standing on steps. I don't know if anybody's actually seen Major League, but in Major League 2, when it was like during like the playoffs and they were facing the Yankees, and Dorn was like, because Dorn's like this character who, he retired, then he came back and he's like, no, I want to bat, and then they're like, no, just let the ball hit you. So he lets the ball hit him, and then he stands on base, and they're like, Dorn, come back here, and then he's like, mm-mm. Like, it's like Lana. She's like, I want to be in the match. And then they're like, no, stay there. I'm just like, oh, my God. This match was horrible. Yeah. To me, it's like, I don't know which is worse, the men's one or the women's one. I would say they're both equally bad.
Well, it depends on what perspective. From burying a team, the men's was worse. From fucking up a storyline royally, the women's was worse.
Yeah. And my God, like Survivor Series, like this, the whole, like, even the elimination matches last year sucked.
Anytime they've done Raw versus SmackDown, it sucks.
It's just not good, and
it's the wrong time of year. It's you're setting up matches that, okay, like a couple of years ago when you had Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, you knew the outcome. Brock Lesnar was not losing to AJ Styles. And the only reason that you had to have that match was because AJ Styles was the champion.
But you know what? That AJ Styles-Lesnar match was great.
Yes. But at the same time, it's just like the finale of this. You have Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, and you don't want either one of those guys to lose right now. But you have to do it because it's Raw versus SmackDown, and the champions have to fight.
Indeed, and that's actually the last thing one of the last things about the show. The only match that anybody actually was excited for, besides for The Undertaker's retirement, was Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. That was the only reason. That was the only other reason why people actually watched the show.
Yeah, it was actually a good match.
It was. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, who I think is probably the best Universal Champion, by the way. And then you have Drew McIntyre, who I think has been on the best run of his career as the WWE Champion.
And never should have lost to Orton, but carry on.
So, yeah, I was going to get to that. So, originally it was supposed to be Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, which I thought that match would have been good, because, again, I like both guys. But
it would have been a safer bet.
Yeah, and then Drew won the title back on Raw, so Randy's title reign basically was pointless. And they screwed over Randy again. So then we had Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. This match was actually really good. I like the hard hitting. Like I like a physical match. And
to those who whine and complain because it was too slow and there wasn't enough high dive flippy shit, bite me.
No, I'm with you, because not every match has to be, high flying stuff. Like, you can have a match that's more grounded, but it can be really good and have a great story. Like, this match was very physical. Like Roman right now is so good and just so like resourceful. Like, whenever someone's pinning him, he would hit him with like a low blow where the referee can't even see him. That is smart. I'm like, first of all, how come no one else does this?
Well, Shinsuke had his low blow fiasco a few years ago.
Yeah, but that was just like him just like going from behind. Like, this is actually like where someone's going for the pin and then Roman just like hits him in the crotch.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then Roman hit the spear through the barricade. So the finish of the match, the referee goes down because the referee always has to go down in these types of matches. Jey Uso shows up after basically being verbally abused by the tribal chief. Comes out to help Roman Reigns. He hits Drew with the super kick. Roman hits a spear, puts him in the guillotine, and then Roman beat him via technical submission.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is probably match of the night easily.
It is, because not only that, but it sets up for the future. The next time that Roman Reigns faces up against Drew McIntyre, McIntyre can say, you hit me with everything you had and still couldn't beat me without cheating. It sets up storyline for the future. Because when they come back to Reigns versus McIntyre, McIntyre can say, you hit me with every shot you had, you still couldn't put me down.
And you know what's funny? When they did McIntyre Reigns back, last year, you know how better this was with McIntyre being the face and Roman the heel?
Mm-hmm.
And then previously when McIntyre was the heel and Roman was the face, it was like boring.
Yeah, because Roman Reigns doesn't make a good face.
He doesn't. He's just bland.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't come across as the good guy, the one that kisses babies and that. What he will make is a good Austin good guy, where he still does everything he wants to do, but he does it to benefit a face, right? So he'll come out and he'll be a badass and he'll, he puts up with nobody's bullshit, but, he gets the cheer because, he's doing bad for good. The old Austin.
But now let's get into the retirement ceremony of The Undertaker. We had so the first part of it was you had the people come out. You had Shane, Big Show, JBL, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, The Godfather, The Godwins, Savio Vega, Rikishi, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Kane in full attire came out to kick it off, and then they don't show them in the ring afterwards. Then they do their usual video package. Vince McMahon then comes out and does his little promo. And then Undertaker came out in full attire, which was kind of confusing because, we just had the Boneyard match earlier this year. He was not the full-on dead man, but yet he's dead man again here, which I think was actually perfect because that's the only way you could go with it. And he basically said, it's my time has come to, let, him rest in peace. He did the trademark kneeling. He does his trademark pose where he kneels. And actually they did a hologram of Paul Bearer, which that was awesome. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was nice. Then the gong then tolls, and then he then leaves the ring, does his, fist thing where he, stands on the ramp and does the fist, and then that was the end of the show.
Badass. Yeah.
That was probably the best way to end it.
Yeah.
The overall show was a mess. It wasn't very good. Like, the only things that I could say that really redeemed the show is the Roman McIntyre match, the Undertaker farewell thing, and to a degree, the women's match. I will be right back, guys. My phone is going off. You guys converse about Survivor Series.
Okay. So, Survivor Series now is a joke because, they just got to drop the Raw versus SmackDown because it's not believable. It's not the only time of year that the two brands fight.
They had to be one of the worst SmackDown over the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's all it does is hurt the other show because Raw typically goes over every time, right? Especially if there's a brand split, Raw goes over every time, and it's the matches are predictable. There's no real feud. You can't build a feud for the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're on two different shows.
Yeah.
And then you get those stupid invasion ones where SmackDown invades Raw or Raw invades SmackDown or some stupid shit that nobody buys because SmackDown and Raw don't have animosity. They never do. They're not brand. You know, the wrestlers are, well, I'm on SmackDown this year. I'm on Raw this year. There's no real thing. And then they're allowed to cross over anytime they goddamn well please anyway, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Exactly. And Arrow said it best. The show was a dumpster fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey,
other than the last two things, the show was bad.
Hey, you know what? Can I just pick on something in one thing? It was on SmackDown a minute ago. Not a minute ago, but like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You have in the main event, right? You have Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens and Otis, right? Taking in the match was two on one. Roman Reigns came in, beat the heck out of Otis, and one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in WWE in the past 10 years. Roman Reigns hit Otis with a step from the referee, and the referee did not call it for the bell.
Yeah, the referees over there are stupid.
Like
had to stop. These are the same referees that had to stop Hell in a Cell last year because Seth Rollins went too far.
But wait, you see that man getting beat up with step, and you just standing there looking at it, and you did not call it for the bell. Like how?
Because the referees suck.
That gotta be one of the dumbest referees I ever seen.
No. Dumbest referee in the world is the one who decided to disqualify somebody in a Hell in a Cell match.
That is that is what I brought up. He disqualified. I don't understand. Like, it's a Hell in a Cell match. There's no disqualifications. They do Hell in a Cell for a reason. Then to end the match because he went too far. That's bullshit.
Dude, okay, for real. Hell in a Cell match probably the danger match in WWE history. Like, you could do anything you want. The Fiend. Do the Fiend probably not the monster of the WWE? Of course he don't get hurt. Ring the bell. I mean, the bell, and disqualify Chef Watt. How you get disqualified in a Hell in a Cell match?
You don't.
Man. Like, for real though.
I wonder if Mick Foley is wondering if where's this disqualification rule when I got thrown off the cage not once but twice.
Yep.
I'm just curious.
Exactly. So I guess our overall thoughts, the show really wasn't that good besides for the Undertaker thing and Roman versus McIntyre.
Yep.
So now let's get into some topics before we talk about NXT Takeover WarGames. Let's first start off with some AEW stuff. Sting and AEW Monday Impact.
Why?
Sting made his debut for AEW, appearing on TNT for the first time in years. I don't know how I feel about it. If they're bringing him in as an authority figure,
but that's not his shtick.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And I'm sorry. Let's look at AEW for a minute, okay? They're bringing in Sting. Sting should have been 2 or 3 appearance before a pay-per-view. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been okay. But no, these idiots sign him to a 2 to 3 year contract. He can't go in the ring again. He can't. After the incident with Seth Rollins, he cannot go into a ring. And if he does, it's irresponsible to put Sting in the ring again. It's irresponsible to put Sting in the ring again. You are basically jeopardizing this man's life by putting him back in the ring again. I don't care if he wants to go back in the ring. I don't care if he thinks he can go. He should not be allowed back in that ring.
Yeah.
So they're going to put him back in the ring eventually. We know this is coming. Now, the other problem with it is let's take a look at all the other people that they've brought back. Okay, Jake the Snake Roberts, they brought him back. Why he's not the mouthpiece for the Dork Order, I'm not sure.
Because I think even now, I think Jake is still a good promo.
Jake the Snake Roberts, and you have a proper Dark Order instead of Dork Order. Sorry, Jim Cornette, I'll steal that one all day long. Okay, seriously, all you need is Jake the Snake in the back in a dark room with a microphone, calling the shots. That's what you have Jake the Snake for. And if you want an authority figure, they had an authority figure. Hell, they've got the perfect guy. But oh no, what does he do? He sits at ringside with his thumb up his ass. That is the worst use of AA I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And they brought back Taz. And, you know, I'm actually okay with what Taz is doing because he can't wrestle anymore.
Okay. No, Taz can't wrestle, and Taz is doing what he should be doing. He's a mouthpiece. Okay? But I mean, let's look at Sting coming back. Sting comes back. You have an equal pairing of heels and baby faces in the ring at the time. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, Cody Rhodes is kind of getting his ass kicked, but that's kind of normal. So, fine. Sting comes. He doesn't even come. Now, does Sting come down from the rafters and hit a couple people with a bat? No. Sting comes up from the freaking from the ramp, which in an entrance that takes for fucking ever. And they do the wrestling gimmick of, oh no, somebody's music hits. Let's all stop doing what we're doing and look towards the ramp. Why, I don't know, but okay. Sting comes out, points the bat. Every one of your heels fucking book it. So all your heels now look like a bunch of fucking chicken shit bastards because they just ran away from a 61-year-old guy.
And the 61-year-old guy can't even wrestle.
Okay. Then the next time they bring him out, they're about to go down and confront Cody again. They're on the ramp with Taz. Sting comes out, pulls out the bat. Everybody but one of them has to be held back because he's going to go attack Sting. Right. Bullshit. But you just made all those heels look like a bunch of chumps because they just ran away from a 61-year-old man with a bat. You had 6 people run away from one dude who's not even in his prime.
Yeah, Sting is way past his prime now. I think.
Why are they running away?
That's a good question.
Right? Why are they running away from him? If anything, it should be, what do you want, old man?
It's like, oh, you got a bat? That's funny. It's like we suffer worse on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure we can take you on.
Right? You know, Taz should have got on that mic and went, what do you want? Yeah, there would have been a day when we would have hightailed it. But you're Sting now. How's your neck, Sting? Right? No. They fucking run away from a 61-year-old or 60-some-odd-year-old man. Just at the sight of them.
AEW stuff is just so ass backwards. It's also the 50-50 booking, too. Like, where you have a jobber team facing a main event team, and yet it's 50-50.
AEW fucked up big. Because when AEW came out, right? I was kind of almost half excited to see this, to see what they were going to do. Now, I never bought for a goddamn second that they were going to be able to compete with Vince McMahon. Let's just be straight up. That ain't going to happen. I don't care how much money that guy's got. He ain't going up against Vince. Vince has the market. So that's out of the question. But there could be some interesting prospects here, especially considering when they came out, they stated that not only were they going to go and make it so that it was a sports-based product. Well, they failed on that. Wins and losses were going to mean something. That's bullshit.
Now they mean nothing.
Doesn't they mean nothing. Mean absolutely nothing. They couldn't even keep to their own freaking charter. And here's another thing. All they are Impact wannabes who now side with Impact. That makes no goddamn sense. For the love of God, they've got the Young Bucks, which are executive vice president dipshits, and then you've got Cody Rhodes, who's a vice president. You've got his wife, who's a vice president. You've got Joe Blow, number 5, who's a president. You've got freaking Chris Jericho. All these guys, there's no counter. The reason it worked with the McMahons is because they had a counter. The Raw GM had more power than Vince on the show. Right?
Yeah.
So you had somebody to come out and go, Cody Rhodes, you might be senior vice president of this company. But on Dynamite, what I say goes. Or Young Bucks, you might be vice presidents. But on this show, I rule. So you guys are putting up those tag team titles, and you're doing it now.
And you know what's funny? All
that.
the executives over there are champions.
Yeah.
What a joke.
Right? They don't have the counter.
Yeah.
They don't have the counter. They have, we're all best friends, and we all have our, no, this doesn't, no. And Kenny Omega, I'm sorry, no.
That be Anita a full-timer. Anita ain't no part-timer like Goldberg winning the championship. Anita work with AEW every day. Not with Goldberg winning the champion.
Well, Goldberg's coming back. He's still got 2 more matches in his current contract. Oops.
But I hope he uses one of those to put over Roman Reigns.
One day. He gonna be one way in 10 seconds. One day.
But honestly, I mean, let's look at this. AEW is a damn joke. It's a damn joke.
It is.
And I said this in the pre-show when we were talking backstage. The best thing for AEW is Vince McMahon never takes him seriously a day in his life.
Because Vince McMahon does not take him seriously now.
Yeah, he doesn't. And if he ever did, God help them. Because what are they going to do against Vince if Vince actually puts thought into it? All Vince would need to do, if Vince actually cared about ratings, and there's another thing that pisses me off. Sorry, I'm going to go on a rant. Here's another thing that pisses me off. Ratings. Nobody cares about ratings anymore. We have to get out of this thinking here. Because, okay, back in the good old days, in the, Raw versus, Nitro wars, okay, ratings meant something. They don't anymore. I would be surprised if Vince would.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And
he doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't.
And the other thing too, I mean, let's look at this from this perspective. Okay, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that TNT decides tomorrow, you know what? This AEW thing, it's not really pulling us in the ratings we want. So as of January 1st, we're no longer carrying it. What does AEW do from there? They're fucked. 7 ways from Sunday. Now, you go to the flip side. USA Network goes, you know what, Vince? This NXT thing? Yeah, not our cup. We'll keep Raw, but we're not really impressed with this show. We're cutting it. What does Vince do? He throws it on the damn network. And he doesn't even bat an eyelash.
At least Vince has a contingency plan where with AEW, AEW is making the same mistakes that Nitro did.
Yep. Oh, and never mind Nitro. We can go even further into history than that. Look at Impact. The last time that TNA actually had a run at Vince, what did they do? They brought in Russo. They brought in freaking all of the ex-WCW guys. They brought in Hogan. They brought in Bischoff. All they had was WCW Light. That's it. And what happened? Now they're on some obscure channel that nobody knows how to get to. And AEW is partnering with them. And this is supposed to be a big thing. Impact hasn't been freaking relevant in 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that long, but they haven't been relevant in a long time. Okay? At this point, New Japan is more relevant than Impact ever will be. Ring of Honor probably has more street cred than Impact does at this point. And that's their big partnership, AEW and Impact. What does AEW get from teaming with Impact besides a whole bunch of nothing?
Like I would say the only company that's benefiting from this is Impact.
Absolutely, it is.
But even then, how much is this going to last until eventually they're like, all right, we're like, are they going to start showing them on their program? Are they going to have?
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. When it got announced, right? They announced that the new AEW champion, right, was going over to Impact on Tuesday. Okay, so they had that show. Ratings went through the roof for that one show. The very next week, it had a huge drop. Huge drop. It's a one and done.
Yeah.
It's a one and done because you're not going to have the AEW champion go over to Impact and he's not going to lose his title. He's definitely not losing the match.
No.
I do know that Kenny Omega do got a match in Impact. So
well, of course.
I don't know why Impact like that.
Right? So he's going to go up against their champion. Fine. Dream match, whoop-de-ding. But at the end of the day, it's not going to drive people to that channel all that much because, one, it's harder than hell to find that channel to watch it.
And you know what? Now have Kenny Omega, the AEW champion, facing the Impact World Champion with Strong. And also, let's add the Good Brother, who used to be in WWE, who got buried by WWE. The Good Brother, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows.
Yep.
Let's throw them in. Let we out the Bullet Club. Bullet Club is back, baby. Oh, let's throw the finger up. Like, why, Joe? Why?
Here's what's going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. AEW is going to do what WWE used to do, which is partner with a smaller company, raid their talent, and go, thanks. Because that's what Vince did for years. Look at ECW.
I would also say WCW did this too with the ECW as well. Because if you think about Guerrero, Mysterio, Saturn, Malenko, all those guys were from ECW. WCW just stole them.
Yeah, Austin, WWE. WCW fired him. He went to ECW. From ECW, he went to WWE.
Then you had the Dudley Boys who went to WWE. Taz went to WWE. Then you had Sandman who went to WCW. Raven went to WCW, then to WWE. And then WCW, I think, also stole Mike Awesome. Who, fun fact, by the way, to anybody in the chat, Mike Awesome was the ECW champion, and WCW managed to get him.
Oh, that wasn't hard. They just threw money at him. Something ECW couldn't do. Just ask Paul Heyman.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I still respect Paul Heyman. He's the GOAT. But at the same time, though, he's a masterclass bullshitter.
Well, yeah, that's kind of his. Is Paul Heyman lying? I don't know. Is his mouth moving?
But
another fun fact: Ben Russo won the WCW champion. Another fun fact.
Oh, actually, did you hear that AEW wants to do a secondary show?
Yep. Which was WCW's biggest mistake. Ask Eric Bischoff.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like the idea of giving the talent that you're not showing on your main show to give them a show to like showcase themselves. But it's like WCW did this before and it didn't work.
No, because it's so much more to run two shows. And God help them if they go up against WWE. Because quite frankly, like I said, the best thing for AEW is to make sure that WWE does not think that they're alive.
And they better not air that secondary show on Fridays, because let's be honest, what would you rather watch? That secondary show or Roman Reigns?
Yeah. And not only that, but let's just spitball here for a second. If Vince actually gave a damn and he decided, well, okay, it's time to show these AEW motherfuckers who they're dealing with. AEW has a pay-per-view. Vince knows about it probably 2-3 weeks in advance, month in advance. And he decides that that's where he's going to make his mark. So now he decides, okay, I'm going to have a pay-per-view. Well, that's easy because he throws it on the network. He doesn't have to negotiate with a pay-per-view company or anybody else. He just throws it on the network, makes it a network special. And on that network special, you're going to have Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee. You're going to have AJ Styles with the returning once-in-a-lifetime only Shawn Michaels, the HBK. There's a dream match.
If WWE ever gives me that card,
what the hell is AEW going to throw up against that?
Because, in whole honesty, AEW, except for like maybe a few like of the ex-WWE guys, they really have no real talent.
You know, like what are they going to throw up against that? Oh, we're going to bring Sting out. We're going to bring Sting out. Okay, fine. We'll bring Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Main event. What the hell does AEW have to... Jericho is, as good as he is, he can't compete with that.
No. And
Cody Rhodes, as good as he is, he can't compete with that either.
And, I just think when WWE does buy, like hypothetically, when they do buy him out, Vince is just going to bury him. He's just going to be like, huh, you really think these guys are the shit? Well, here you go. They're shit now.
Vince doesn't even care. I guarantee, like, you watch these wrestling shows, no offense to them, but when AEW came out and was announced, there was this big thing how AEW was going to bury WWE, and WWE was in for a shock because AEW was going to put them out of business. Do you know how many times as a wrestling fan I have heard XYZ is going to put Vince out of business?
And then they didn't do it. Because again, like you said, look at Impact. They tried to do it. Look at where they are now. Look at WCW.
Vince has the market. Like it or not, whether his show is good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. He owns the market share. He's been around longest. He's got the credibility. He's got the drawing power of Raw, the drawing power of SmackDown. He doesn't need to, like, these people can't even compete. They can't. I mean, if you really want to think about it, Vince McMahon makes more on a Saudi Arabia show than AEW will for the entire year.
Yeah. And, like, that's also another thing. Like, even though, like, they have Tony Khan, like, AEW is going to run out of money eventually. Because you got to think that they're signing everybody, and then you got to do all this other stuff.
Well, not only that, but they're on TNT. TNT does not have a good track record of keeping with a program if it starts to fail. Okay, so if AEW does not continue to improve its ratings, and those ratings start to drop or just stay stagnant, which is what they're doing pretty much, give or take 100,000 views here and there, but they're not moving the needle week to week. Not near as much as they should be. TNT is going to get just bored of it, and it's going to be like, you know what? We're not getting as much back as we're putting out. You're done.
Absolutely. And again, and it's just like AEW is just making a lot of the simple WCW mistakes that if they at least watched it back, they wouldn't have made these mistakes. Like, your first world champion was Chris Jericho. I understand that because, again, you have to have an established guy be your world champion first. Because you want to make that title prestigious because it's your world title. I get that. But at the same time, you should use that world title to establish someone new and someone young. And you want to establish them as your face of the company. Like Jericho, as much as I love him, he did not need to be the champion.
Hey, I'm a Winnipeg boy. So Jericho's got my vote.
And don't get me wrong, I was okay with Jericho winning. But Hangman Page, like, what has Hangman Page really done since then? Nothing.
No. And then Moxley, he had the title. He did good for a year. And then he loses it to that idiot, Kenny Omega. And, like, did Kenny Omega need that win? That's who you have dethroned your year-long champion is Omega? One of the vice presidents of the company? That's who's...
Also, I just want to say that I think Kenny Omega is actually overrated.
I'm sorry, but ever since I heard that he had a match with a blow-up doll, I can't take him seriously.
Yeah, like, I just think to me he's overrated because Dave Meltzer is always like, oh my god, 6 stars, 7 stars, 5 stars.
It's gone senile. Okay, that's just Uncle Dave has gone woohoo off the deep end.
Yeah, Dave is just he's stupid. It's like, don't get me wrong, I understand that because Dave is biased towards the Japan people and the indie marks. And then when WWE tries to give out something good, then you just like, oh nope, this is trash.
Well, and in a way, he all Dave is doing really is he's going to the diehard fans, right? And he's because right now the way it is everybody likes the indie guys, okay? And everything that WWE does is shit. Everything that AEW does is grand. So he's just jumped on the bandwagon so that he stays relevant and so that people still pay attention to the Observer. I mean, let's face it. All he's done is he's sided with what he feels is the majority, the young guys. And I mean, it's stupid. It's absolutely mind-blowing because WWE could do something and he'll call it trash. AEW does the exact same thing and it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, and man, it's just
and the fans are the same way. I hate to say this, but they are. They're the exact same way.
Can I just say something about these fans?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let's be honest. When WWE try to put the guys that the fan want, the fan would be happy. But once they win all the matches, the fan don't like doing anymore.
And actually, I want to bring up something like that to Sean. The fans, were basically, oh, we want Randy Orton to win. And then he wins the title. They all got butthurt because Drew lost. And then as soon as Drew won the title back, everybody then was like, well, why did Randy lose?
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, if you really want to see how silly things can get, look at poor Roman Reigns, right? Roman Reigns wins a freaking Royal Rumble, and the only reason that anybody got pissed off was because everybody wanted freaking Daniel Bryan to win that Royal Rumble. That's the only reason. It wasn't because Roman Reigns was a bad wrestler. It wasn't because Roman Reigns didn't earn it. He got booed out of the building because the fans wanted Daniel freaking Bryan. End of story.
Yeah. And just overall, like, AEW really needs to start changing their shit because...
And I'll put it this way. Since we're on a wrestling chat, I can do this now, which is going to piss off a whole bunch of people. But, oh well. To all the fandoms out there, whether you be Star Trek, Star Wars, You're going, my company doesn't care. Disney doesn't care about us fans. CBS doesn't care about their fans. Welcome to being a wrestling fan. Because we've been called what? We've been called marks. We've been called kids living in our mother's basements since the 90s. Welcome to our world. Just saying.
And also the fact that CBS doesn't care about us and the fact that Disney doesn't care about us. How about wrestling fans? You know, WWE doesn't really care about us.
No, they haven't cared about it. And here's the difference. WWE is the one who basically says it. Okay? WWE is like, oh, well, the diehards will always be here. And guess what? They're not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? WWE does not make Raw for the guys who go out and buy the $1,000 replica belt. Okay? That is not who WWE makes Raw for. WWE does not make WrestleMania for the guy who shows up to every show in his hometown. Does not go there to buy the brand new New Day shirt, even though New Day just came up with a shirt 2 weeks ago, but now there's a new one, so you got to buy the new one. That's not who this is for. This is for the guy who is casually flipping through the channels and finds Monday Night Raw. It has been since early 2000s.
Yeah,
Right?
like at least WWE's upfront about it. It's like, yeah, we just don't care.
Yeah.
AEW, on the other hand, are the bullshitters. They're like, oh, we actually care. But I have yet to see it.
They're snake oil salesmen. Because when they came out with AEW, they stated this was going to be a sports-based show. What on earth on any AEW show has been a sports-based show? None of it. When do wins and losses matter on AEW?
Because a guy could lose, you know, that week, and then the next week he's challenging for the world title.
Yeah. And you notice how it's buddies of the vice presidents?
Yeah. Like Kenny Omega wins most of the time. The Young Bucks are the tag champions. You got Omega, who's the world champion. Cody Rhodes was the first TNT champion.
Mm-hmm.
He then let Brody Lee beat him, only to then win it back immediately and then lose it to Darby Allin. And then it's just
because, but okay, but why did Cody Rhodes lose that title?
Because he wants to make sure that nobody looks at him with that look of.
No, that's not why Cody Rhodes lost that title. Cody Rhodes lost that title because he had to go shoot a TV show.
Yep. That is true now.
And you know, I have a conspiracy theory that they made AEW just so they can give themselves championships because they know WWE won't.
It's indie or us. It's
Yeah.
indie or us. And I'm sorry, but the modern wrestling is okay. Back in the day, we used to watch shit and go, how the fuck did he do that without getting hurt? Nowadays, it's, oh my God, he got hurt doing that. How many wrestlers are out in a year? Because they didn't dive off of something stupid. For what? Look at my favorite. AEW did the biggest travesty to Matt Hardy that I've ever seen in my life. It was despicable what they did to Matt Hardy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Wasn't it where like he had that like gruesome, like that really disgusting fall and blood?
He got speared off of this thing in the back in a backroom fight. Okay, his head bounced off the concrete floor. You could literally tell that he is not home. Lights are on, nobody's home, and they let the match continue. In this day and age, They let the match continue. Matt Hardy was knocked so far out of next week, it wasn't even funny, and they let that match continue.
That's disgusting. Like, just AEW, they got to change. I think that's all that needs to be said. And Arrow actually has a comment. I think Randy Orton has been the most consistent wrestler over the past 10 years.
Yeah, because he's also been one of the most protected.
And I have to be completely honest.
Randy Orton won't just do something because you tell Randy Orton to do it.
Yeah, and to me, it's like Randy Orton is kind of underappreciated in a way.
Yeah.
You know who's another one? As much as, his gimmick is annoying and obnoxious, Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
He was the only one to survive the Spirit Squad. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, he just has that luck about him. He's the
only one to survive the Spirit Squad. That's all I got to say about that.
So, for our next topic, I want to talk about unionization with, the WWE and the wrestlers right now. Basically, this started because Vince McMahon basically said, okay, for the people who have Twitch and stuff, you got to shut down your accounts because you guys are making money and you're not making money from us, so we're going to shut your stuff down. And you have 30 days to do so. Or you can keep them up, but most of your money is going to go to us. The wrestlers were like, no. And Vince is like, all right, they talked about Selena Vega, she originally was the manager of Andrade. She ended up, she ended up getting fired because she started an OnlyFans account and WWE did not like that. And then she posted a tweet about, I support unionization.
Yeah, that's an easy way to get fired from WWE. Just go talk to an old wrestler called Ventura.
Yeah.
And okay, the big sticking point here is wrestlers are independent contractors by definition. The problem is they're independent contractors signed to a certain company. Okay, which totally kind of negates that whole independent contractor shtick. But for tax purposes, they're independent contractors. Okay, but at the same time, you have to understand Vince owns, because of contract, all of that shit. And Vince, you have to look at it from Vince McMahon's. I hate to play devil's advocate, but you have to look at it from Vince's point of view. You have a radio show on YouTube. Okay, cool. Nice. That's okay. Except I have you as a badass on my TV and you're on here laughing and joking. This doesn't work. Yes, kayfabe is dead. Has been for years. But here's the other side to that coin. Right? There are certain things Vince doesn't want getting out. Well, you're on YouTube blasting away, making money, and he's still paying you. You're on his dime.
Yeah. And
right.
But I can also look at it from the wrestler's perspective that, especially around this time, with the pandemic and stuff, they should have a right to do whatever they want to do. If they want to play video games, they want to entertain themselves.
The problem is in the contract, right? Vince owns you. In short, Vince owns you. Now, if you want to argue the independent contractor gimmick, that you could do. You could argue that. I wouldn't recommend it because it would be very bad for your career health. But you could. However, you got to look at it like this. Vince looks at it quite plainly. Even if you're at home, you're making money at this point, right? Even if you're not on Raw or you're not on SmackDown, you have a minimum guarantee, right?
Yeah.
And as long as you're making that minimum guarantee, your onus is to WWE and Vince McMahon. And everything that you do is controlled by Vince McMahon. It's stupid because they're considered independent contractors on one side, but on the other side, you're owned lock, stock, and barrel by the WWE.
Yeah.
Right? So for the New Day to have a YouTube channel and call it the New Day anywhere in there is technically WWE branding. You're using WWE intellectual property.
And I want to bring this up. You know, if everybody else's channels are being taken down, why isn't Up, Up, Down, Down being taken down?
Because they've probably got a deal with Vince.
Oh, that's probably true. I mean, I'm just looking at it as level of fairness, because if you're going to take that away from all these people, why aren't you taking it from these people?
It's like the same. Okay, you want to talk about it? Let's go to a bigger one. The Undertaker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Undertaker was scheduled for a big UK tour. Undertaker wasn't doing shit for WWE at the time. Vince McMahon put a stop to it. Undertaker was allowed to make one appearance, and that was it. Undertaker was supposed to be at a big con. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
One phone call from Vince. No, you're coming back to WrestleMania. Okay. Vince owned The Undertaker. He didn't own Mark Calloway, but he owned The Undertaker. It's the same with Cody Rhodes, which is why Cody Rhodes has had to go Cody for the longest fucking time. Because Vince McMahon owned Rhodes.
Yeah, and you know, but I also, you make this argument though too, like a lot of the mid carders there, you know, unless you're a main eventer, you're not really making that much money.
No.
And I get why they're doing Twitch and stuff, because they want to make a little bit more, so that, because again, I get why they're doing it, and I can understand that argument, but I do agree with you that at the end of the day, it's Vince's call.
Yeah. It's
and you know
Vince McMahon's call, because Vince McMahon owns them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny though? The NXT, you know, the people in NXT are exempt from it.
Mm-hmm. Because they're developmental talent. Right?
And
Vince could let them go tomorrow and not bat an eyelash.
Yeah. But man, just overall though, like I just think the unionization thing is just dumb. Like I get it.
It will never happen. It will never happen. Because unfortunately, it's a nice idea. Right?
Yeah.
But the problem with it is mainly because of where they are. They're in the US. Okay. So if they're considered employees, well, then comes health benefits and every other thing that Vince doesn't want to have to pay for.
Yeah. And
right?
just
That's why they like even look at AEW. When AEW started, there was the big ramblings that they were going to bring in healthcare for the wrestlers for the first time in forever. Has that happened yet?
last time I checked, no.
Yeah. But they're supposed to be revolutionary. They're supposed to turn the wrestling world on their head. Wins are supposed to matter. Sports-based entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
But just the overall thing with the unionization thing is like it's dumb and overall just makes no sense. And speaking of which, Mr. McMahon has reportedly been got very upset and sent Keith Lee down to developmental.
Yeah, well, it wasn't only Keith Lee; it was a few other people.
Now, I don't know what this was about. I don't know if Vince was just like, look, these guys suck in the ring. I don't know if it could have been anything.
It's there's interesting prospects on this. A lot of people are throwing it under the bus, going Vince McMahon spazzed out, flipped out, cried like a baby, and said, "Get these bastards back to NXT." I don't think that's how it happened. I think Jim Cornette had it right when this question was posed to Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette went, "Okay, this is probably what's happened. Vince McMahon saw one of these guys do something really, really stupid, and Vince went, send them back. They need more. They're still too green." Because Vince likes big guys. And every single one of those guys that were sent back to the Performance Center are big guys. So these are the guys Vince McMahon wants to succeed. Keith Lee. Vince McMahon likes Keith Lee. Keith Lee has everything that Vince McMahon wants. He's thick, he's big, and he's strong. That's a Vince McMahon guy if I ever saw one. Okay? But he can't be green. He can't be making mistakes like allowing a guy half his size to be competitive.
Yeah. And also, you got to think, though, too, like, Keith Lee is very agile, and I don't think it helped when Keith Lee did that dive, like, a couple weeks ago on Raw, and, like, he hit the back of his head on the apron.
Yeah. That brings you back to scary moments in Brock Lesnar's career, the one and only time against Kurt Angle, where he went to the top rope,
hit the shooting star press and landed on his head.
Damn near broke his neck.
Which actually, to tell you the truth, the main event between Lesnar and Angle was really good.
Mm-hmm. But again, big guys are not supposed to do that shite. There's a reason. Like when the Big Show came into WWE, okay, Big Show could do a lot of shit for a man his size. Okay, Big Show could land a drop kick. Okay. He wasn't allowed to do it because you're a big man. That's not how big men fight. You don't jump around like Rey Mysterio, because if you jump around like Rey Mysterio, if Rey Mysterio does it, then you do it. It takes away from Rey Mysterio.
Indeed.
Well, big deal. You can do that. So can the big 700-pound, 7 foot, 500-pound Big Show. What's the big deal?
Well, he's a big guy, and if it lands wrong, then most people are screwed. Yeah.
Like, if Big Show ever lands one of those knockout punches and he accidentally forgets to pull back, oops, there goes your head. But again, it's just mind-blowing. And what I think has happened, and it's not the first time. This isn't something new. A lot of the time, even back in the day, when you first got called up to the main roster, you're still getting, especially if Vince has, kept his eye on you, you're still getting groomed outside of the main roster. Now, it would have been different if Vince would have gone, you know what? Keith Lee's no longer on Raw. Send him back to NXT. Okay, that's Vince being pissed. All this is Vince saying he's still too green. He needs some more work.
Yeah.
Right? He's not removed from the main roster. He's not back on NXT. He's just going back for more training. And why, as fans, we're throwing a fit about this, I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm going to put a name in the private chat. I don't know if you know him or not, but I'm pretty sure he was one of them.
Yeah. Well, the other one that got sent back was AJ's Muscles. Whatever the hell his name is.
Almost.
Yeah, Mr. Big, Dumb, and Stupid. Yeah. Trying to pull off a Diesel back in the Shawn Michaels era. Yeah.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense. But just overall, though, like, I get it. And like I said,
If anything, fans should be happy.
Yeah.
Because if Vince McMahon is sending him back to get more training, that means Vince McMahon gives a damn about this guy. And there's probably going to be pushes coming.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon doesn't just send people back for more training that he doesn't care about or doesn't have a plan for.
Yeah.
Right?
And
if anything, us fans should shut the fuck up and be happy that Vince is actually giving a damn about somebody he's called up from NXT.
indeed. So the last real topic of the show, NXT Takeover WarGames.
Wait, because there is one person who should have been sent back to NXT, and there's one person that should have been sent back for a lot more training.
Nah, Jack.
Nia freaking Jax.
Yep.
I was also going to say Jinder Mahal, but that's just
Jinder went from average body to brick shit house by working out, quote, 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 working out.
and then he was WWE champion in one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, you know why he was WWE champion?
Because the Indian market.
Yeah.
And yet it just didn't work.
Nope. Which is why he lost the title before they went to India. Oops.
Yeah. But the last real topic of the show, NXT TakeOver WarGames. The recent one that was like a couple weeks ago. So I figure we'll run down the match like we did with Survivor Series. The first match, WarGames. It was Team Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm, who they turned heel just because they needed another member for Team Candice, versus Team Shotzi, which is Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai. That is the only reason why the Women's Championship was not defended on the show.
You want to talk about how far someone has fallen? Look at Ember Moon. She went from NXT to the main roster, now back on NXT.
Honestly, I consider that a promotion at times.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be honest, she got screwed over on the main roster.
Well, it's because there's only so many. When Ember Moon came up, they had Charlotte Flair. They had Ronda Rousey. They had, right? There's only so many top spots.
That situation kind of reminds me of Austin Aries when he went to NXT. Like, that was the same time where Nakamura came up.
Mm-hmm.
And then look what happened to Austin Aries afterwards.
Although Austin Aries is a tool, but that's besides the point.
But yeah, no, like I get it. Ember Moon, I think if she just was brought up maybe a little bit later, I could see her being a women's champion.
Back to this match, whose brilliant idea was it to have a $120 female climb to the top of this cage, put a steel garbage can over her head so she couldn't see where the hell she was going, and then jump down onto people she's hoping know she's coming and catch her? Because if she lands wrong with that garbage can on her head, it's good night, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea was the spot.
You know, it could have been one of the wrestlers, which I think it was.
Oh, absolutely. And then you come out of this match and one of your wrestlers has a broken arm. Just saying.
Well, also, the finish of the match didn't make any sense because the match was mainly, I guess, sort of centered around Candice and Shotzi. But you had the finish be the women's champion getting pinned by Raquel Gonzalez, of all people. Why?
To set up for something down the road.
It's just, to me, I think that's where they're going with it, but at the same time, it was weird. Like, WarGames is supposed to be something that, like, concludes a feud, and this just was like, but if it's setting something up, I'm okay with it.
But here's the problem. These big matches aren't for ending feuds anymore.
Yeah.
They're the time of the year. Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell used to be, two wrestlers have been fighting for months. They're, they've done everything but throw the kitchen sink at each other. There's been interference, yada, yada, yada. Finally, the match comes up. It's going to be Hell in a Cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for the match. Now it's a match in need of a reason.
Yeah, I agree
Instead
with that.
of a reason in need of a match. Look at they had a strap match on here, which from what I can tell, there wasn't a big build-up for. This isn't a blood feud. It didn't deserve a strap match right now.
Yeah.
But because we're at WarGames,
we need to have WarGames.
Yeah. It's not a match built around a storyline. It's a storyline built around a match. And it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I thought, like, because usually with WarGames, they have the spot fests. Obviously, I expect that in these types of matches. Overall, I mean, it was good for what it was. It's just the finish. I do think the finish, if it's setting something up, it works. But overall, it was good. It was just like it's one of those matches that they try to do too much, and it ends up not being as good. The next match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher. So I consider Tommaso Ciampa to be Triple H's third favorite son because to me he has 4 kids that he actually likes in terms of the men's side: Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, and Johnny Gargano, because those are the only 4 he really uses. And the match, I basically call this match. This match was just to put Ciampa over. I don't know if that's just me. The match itself was serviceable. Like, it was good, but it's a match that I feel like needed more time. And just overall, I think Ciampa won with Willow's Bell to Thatcher. Again, another physical match, but this is like a feud that really didn't get going, though. Like, this is just like a random match they just do on the card. I don't know if that's just me.
It was a good match from what I hear, because again, I didn't watch Takeover. I only watched bits and pieces of it. I watched the female WarGames because I couldn't believe somebody was that stupid to do that stupid of a move. But to me, it's just half-baked storyline.
Yeah.
And you're thrown into this position because of, again, you're building a match around a storyline instead of a storyline around, or, storyline around a match instead of a match around a storyline.
Yeah. And just, it was just serviceable. Like, it's a good match. I would say it's definitely a watch. Next match, Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes in a strap match. This feud has been going on for some time. I'm confused on what Dexter Lumis' character is. Is he like an artist?
I have no idea.
Did you just draw paintings and then like Cameron Grimes is scared of him, so they have a strap match? Cameron Grimes loses by submission because Dexter Lumis won again. Where they're going with Dexter Lumis, I don't know. Because right now they're mid-card and their main cards are stacked. To where I don't even know if a Dexter Lumis is really in the cards for any title match. But, we'll see. Triple threat match. Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest versus North American champion Leon Ruff. This is the only match that really had a story to it. Johnny Gargano won the title from Damian Priest, then lost it the next week to Leon Ruff. And then Johnny Gargano got upset because Leon Ruff beat him, and Leon Ruff is basically a jobber. Mm-hmm. And so Gargano basically wants his rematch. Damian Priest screws him out of it, and then Leon Ruff is being like, I can beat both of them, and then that's how we got the match. And actually, the match was really good.
Oh, yeah.
the storytelling of the match was nice. I like that they brought back the ghost faces because that was like the basic. That was like one of the main things that Gargano used during the feud was the ghost face thing. And you know, one of my favorite spots was when Damian Priest did the Razor's Edge, and I think it was like through the barricade or on like the ramp.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then Gargano won the title back after the Ghost Faces show up, and one of the Ghost Faces, which turned out to be Austin Theory. What a swerve! And Gargano is now the first ever 3-time North American champion. It was a good match. I like the Cleveland Browns attire Gargano had on. I was actually okay with Theory being revealed, and then now they have a new stable called The Way, which is Gargano, LeRae, Theory, and who's the other girl? We'll just call her the daughter that they never wanted but got.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a very, very good match. And now the last WarGames match, which is the Undisputed Era versus Team McAfee. If you don't know who Team McAfee is, it was Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan, who are the tag team champions. And if you're wondering where Finn Balor is on this card, he is still healing from a broken jaw, which the man got his jaw broken. And he's going to face the guy who broke his jaw at NXT New Year's Evil. At least that's as of the recording of this stream.
Mm-hmm.
So Finn Balor is still healing his jaw. I gotta say, I kind of prefer this WarGames match over the first one because this one was focused more on the wrestling side of it. And I love technical wrestling. I think technical wrestling you don't really get nowadays. So it was nice to see, because like the thing that not a lot of people give credit to is like it was kind of like a combination of like the British strong style, but it was like technical wrestling. And now they're pushing Kyle O'Reilly to the moon because after that match with Balor at NXT TakeOver 31, which I thought that match was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Because to me, again, that's a match that didn't have any high flying moves. It was like actual like a brawling style. And they brought in the tables, because of course you gotta have your weapons, of course, in WarGames with the tables and Undisputed Era. Which, by the way, fun fact: the Undisputed Era has been in all 4 of the men's WarGames matches.
Yep.
And they've only won 1, I guess 2. Spoiler alert: they won the match. Kyle O'Reilly now is being pushed as the main guy of Undisputed Era now, and he, I don't know what they're going to do. I think they might turn on Kyle O'Reilly. I think that's where they're going to go with it. And, Kyle O'Reilly got the pin. I think it was on Danny Burch. And Mr. CCDV says there's technical wrestling.
Not much anymore.
But you did get it in this match. And I got to say, I think overall, TakeOver WarGames was the better show out of both because Survivor Series, there was like nothing really good on the card except for like the last 2 things. Where I think NXT TakeOver WarGames had a lot of good stuff. It might not have been the greatest, but I think as far as quality, NXT knows what NXT has like more like, because Triple H, I always say, knows more about what he's doing because he's been around the block, so to speak. Because he is a former, he's a wrestler. And I always say it's good to have like a wrestler do some of that stuff to balance it out. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I thought TakeOver WarGames was pretty good.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't the worst thing ever put on television.
Yeah. Deshaun, what about you?
I think the match was okay. You got Kyle O'Reilly get pushed to the moon. You got Out of Cole, doing great. The other people is great, by the way, to be honest. But can we get some respect to Pat McAfee? He is, to me, he is a great wrestler. Also, he's a great talker too. Besides that, the match was great.
All right. Very nice. Now, before we end the stream, we usually have this tradition where we have to do a tier list of something wrestling related. And I figured, why not? We have rambling here. Let's do a tier list.
Okay. On.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys pick. Do you guys want to do? Let's see here. We got Attitude Era pay-per-view. We got best wrestling YouTubers.
Okay. I got one. Top 5 title belts. WWE title belts.
WWE title belts.
Only WWE title belts. And if anybody picks the spinner, I'm leaving this damn thing.
Let's see here. We got current belt designs. We'll just go with WWE belts. That sounds about right. I mean, that's a pretty good selection, I think. And there's obviously the rankings of A, B, C, D, and F. And we're going to start with the World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt. I feel like that belt's an A.
Yeah, that belt.
The big gold?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big gold deserves a little bit of credit. I mean, it was the big belt. I mean, it goes all the way back to the NWA, Ric Flair.
And it's also a very good looking title too. Like he makes somebody look like a world champion.
Yup.
So I gotta put it in A for me.
Yeah, I put it an A for me as well. It one of the best looking WWE title strat WCW ever had. So I gotta put an A. Whoever hold that title, I don't care if they draw or anything, this title would make them look great.
Rambling, are you A as well?
Yeah, we'll go with A. It deserves to be up there.
All right, the Women's Tag Team Championship belts.
C.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go with C as well. Like they look better than like the penny belts. Like they have at least a different design to them, and I also am a sucker for a white strap, but they don't really look that great.
That's a
For
C.
me, I would put it at B, but y'all could put it at C.
Yeah, like it's not bad, but it's not the greatest either, though. Next up, the Universal Championship.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna be honest. I'll put it at D because it grew on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go put it at D. Because if you tell me right now, if this title was revealed to me right now, I would say ugly.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. The next 4 belts, 5 belts, or 4 belts, and then skip one and go to the next one. They're the same belt, different color.
That is true.
Yep.
Right? It's the same stupid belt, different color. And a little bit more gems on the one that The Rock used. Okay? Which is not this next one, but the one after. It's the one that The Rock debuted. But to all intents and purposes, it's the same belt.
Yeah.
The WWE logo, boom. Change the belt color, and it's whether it's on Raw or SmackDown. Done. Next.
Next up, we got the WWE Championship current. I'll put it at B. I think it's still a very good looking title, but it's not.
The black belt looks much better than it ever did with red or blue behind it.
Yeah, like I think like it's a classic looking title. Like I would say it's a B. The 2013 one, however, I put it at C just because there's not a lot of color to it.
No. The one The Rock used that has champion underneath it. Yeah.
It's just a blah looking title, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I would put it at C as well. It's not the best looking title, but it ain't bad at all. But it ain't good looking. I would put it at C.
The spinner title.
F.
Oh, we got a big F.
Oh, F. I'm gonna be honest though. I'm gonna put the devil accurate. I'm gonna put it at B.
Oh no, F. F. F.
Ooh, we got an F and a B.
I put it at B. I put the devil accurate. I put it at B.
See, I gotta base it off design. I might have to go with F as well, just because when you're a champion, it doesn't look believable.
Let's be honest though.
Why in the blue hell do you want a spinning champion? It just, oh no, John Cena. What were you thinking?
Like, the thing is, though, it looked good on certain people, but it also looked bad on certain people.
Can you
It
imagine?
was a championship designed for a person.
Yeah.
John
Can you
Cena.
imagine? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you imagine the Undertaker wearing that belt?
Oh no,
That looked atrocious.
it was bad enough when Randy Orton did.
Oh, God. Next up is the Daniel Bryan belt.
Bryan, it wasn't bad. I put it at a C. It fit the gimmick. It fit the gimmick in which it was made for. It was a creative way, a creative spin. There was a lot of thought that went in behind it, but still, it was built. It was a title built for a person. It's the same problem with the Stone Cold title. It's the same problem with the Rock's title. It's the same problem with the Rated R spinner. It was a belt made for a single person that only that person looks right wearing.
Right.
If I had a rank the title, I would at a gimmick title, I would put at C. But at a WWE Championship, while I'm looking at it right now, I would put at F. Just for sake.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick title.
Yeah, gimmick belt. At a gimmick
Yeah, it
belt,
belongs down with the spinner. Yeah, I'll go with you on that. It belongs down with the spinner. It had more thought than the spinner did, but yeah, it belongs down with the spinner because it's a gimmick belt.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but like, I will agree though, it is probably the best like gimmick title because it worked with the character. But if it was with anybody else,
I will disagree with you. I will disagree.
Yeah,
the best gimmick belt was the original hardcore title that was given to Mick Foley,
and which that I would agree with. I just said like as far as like for a Daniel Bryan though, I think it looks good at him.
Yeah. The best gimmick belt was the hardcore title that was given to Mick Foley.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But I would also say like, but I'm also basing it off like if I saw anybody wearing it other than Daniel Bryan, it would look trash.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense. Why are you having a vegan belt on Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, it would just look bad. But next up is the Undisputed Championship. That's got to go in A.
Yeah, that's either A or B.
I think I got to put an A because I think the title, like with the world title, made you look like a champion.
Yes.
And it has like that championship design. Like it makes you look like a champion, and it was a very prestigious title.
Yeah.
And I just like, because when you look at guys like Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Triple H, you know, those guys look legit. Like,
yeah, but it did look funny on Brock. It was a little thin in the belt to go on Brock, but
But you know, it was overall like a very good looking title, and like some of like the best matches like are usually based around that belt.
Yeah,
like you look at Angle Lesnar, you got Taker Lesnar. You even have that triple threat match with Taker, Angle, and Rock. You know, a lot of them have Brock in it, and also this is the belt that really really established Brock Lesnar as a top guy.
Yes, back in the old SmackDown days. Yeah,
it's just only if John Cena didn't replace it with that spinner belt.
Yeah. Oh, that was brutal.
Oh my God. Next up is the Big Eagle, the Attitude Era belt.
A. and it goes before the heavyweight title.
You know what? I'm actually agreeing with you on that. I think because again, when you look at the Attitude Era title, though, too, it's still a very good looking title, and I could see anybody wearing it, and they would look legit.
The Winged Eagle. I mean, Bret Hart wore that belt,
and I'm also like I would say spoiler.
Steve Austin wore that belt.
I would even say with the classic Winged Eagle, I'd put that in A as well.
Yeah, that's an A. Anything with the Winged Eagle, it's up there.
It's just like both titles are great, and I also go by like matches too. Like some of the best title matches come from those two belts.
Yes. Well, the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart feud.
Yeah, and the Montreal Screwjob. And you also had, Owen Brett. You had Hogan Savage. You had all these huge like top feuds, and they were over this belt. Austin Rock.
Mm-hmm.
All of these.
Winged Eagle was the title. It was the title that mattered.
And also the Big Eagle, established Kurt Angle as a top guy.
Yep.
Same with Rock, Austin. You had Undertaker. Everybody who held those belts, looked, great.
Winged Eagle was the shit.
And you see how everybody did with, after they held that belt. Like they would either do very well, or they would just do fine. But overall, though, like also the Big Eagle established Triple H as a main guy.
Yep.
And also, the stuff with Mick Foley as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, just significant impact and just design. They're great. Next, the Smoking Skull belt.
Well, it's got to go in the gimmick file. So F.
I think I'll have like maybe another tier for gimmicks.
Right. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick championship.
We'll call it gimmick because I feel like it's not really fair to base it off.
No, but it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick championship, right? It's a gimmick championship.
Would you put it before or after the Daniel Bryan belt?
Oh, before.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The previous, but before the new title, the white strap Intercontinental title.
That was nice. I like that coloring.
I gotta put that in A. I think that was a very beautiful belt.
Yeah.
And I think that IC title looked so good. And it's just a shame.
It's an IC title. It's an IC title that you could see Pat Patterson wearing.
Yeah. I can see any of the Intercontinental champions wearing this.
Speaking of which, rest in peace, Pat Patterson.
Yes.
Yes.
RIP, one half of the Stooges. First Intercontinental champion, Pat Patterson.
Yep.
Also former hardcore champion. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Man, he was such a he was just I mainly watched like his Attitude Era stuff where it was with Briscoe and McMahon.
Yeah, he was the Patsy. Yeah,
it was some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got the Globe Intercontinental Championship.
F.
Really?
I hated this belt.
The thing is, I actually didn't mind this belt.
I mean, you just put that beside the white strap. It doesn't look like it's in the same league, right?
No, that I would agree with you on, but I would say but I also grew up with this title.
So D. I'll split the difference and go D. But it's just I did not like that title at all.
See, I would put it at B, but y'all keep it A.
Yeah. B, C, but not A.
Yeah, I would put it at B. I agree with you. It's definitely not A level, but it's because to me, when I look at this title, it still made you look like a champion. It's not like any of these. It's not like the spinner belt where it's just completely ugly, where it's trash. The belt looked nice.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of with this title, it always usually would remind me of an RVD or a Jericho.
D'Lo Brown held that title. Come on now.
And I would even say, like, the match that really, sticks with me with this belt is Orton Foley. Backlash.
Yeah. Owen.
Oh, yeah. Owen, and when he won the title, and then, he broke Austin's neck, and...
Yeah. Let's not
But,
talk.
and The Rock has, like, this, like, weird fascination of bringing in new titles, because he actually brought in this IC title version, too. Because he brought that in when he was with the Nation.
Yeah.
But it's still a good looking belt. And speaking of other IC titles, we have the old school blackstrap IC title.
D or lower.
Yeah, I definitely don't. Yeah,
D, somewhere in there.
I'll say C, just because I do think it's still a good looking title. But again, compared to the white strap, it's definitely not as good looking.
No.
But it's still a nice, visually pleasing belt, though.
To some degree, yeah.
The U.S. title, the
F.
one. Yeah, it's just a huge American flag.
It's just it is the belt that needed to be replaced long before the Intercontinental Championship got replaced. It just
And
it was
honestly,
a damn spinner.
I like the new design more than this design.
Oh yeah. Oh, the new U.S. title is beautiful.
Which, thank God they changed it.
I'll put the U.S. title on L.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, I would put it B or C, but wow.
No, it was so gaudy.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's bad as the spinner belt, though.
No, not as bad, but it's we can put it at a D.
Yeah, I'll say D. It's definitely not.
Spinners in there. It's going to the F faster than my head will spin. So I guess the next two belts we could probably just put in as gimmicks because they're the Raw and then the SmackDown of the same championship.
I mean, yeah, but I would say maybe not because they are main championships, though. It's like because like with the Daniel Bryan belt and the Smoking Skull belt, they were from like the characters, whereas with these titles, it's like their actual titles.
But they're the same belt, exact same belt, and they're actually the exact same belt of the better looking one that's up there that's got the black strap. The only difference is they've got the red backing and the blue backing because one was on Raw and one was on SmackDown.
Honestly, the SmackDown one I prefer because I think the blue background looks better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll go with you on that.
The women's, I might just have like the brand titles as a separate tier as well because again, it's very hard to rank them when it comes to actual.
They're gimmick belts. So the same belt, it's just different brand. And
so we'll just put the Raw and Smack, and I'll do the tag titles as well. Since
even though those ones belong in F.
All right, we'll put them in F.
And same with that copper piece of junk.
The coin belts are in F always. And you know what? Just to spoil, we're gonna put the Divas title in F.
Oh yeah.
That will forever be an F.
The cruiserweight, the 24-hour gimmick bullshit.
Are those?
The gimmick, the 24-hour might just go to a gimmick because that's what it is. It's a gimmick belt. It means nothing.
The cruiserweight title, the purple one, I would say F.
Yeah, F.
That was disgusting. Like the new one with the black strap looks way better.
Oh yeah, but that one's disgusting.
Yeah. The old Raw World Tag Team title belts, the Ruthless Aggression ones.
I'll put it at B.
Yeah, I could go there.
I'm going to say B. I'll say B as well because I think, again, like, it's definitely not A tier, but they were still such good-looking
lineage. They had good lineage.
Yeah. It just sucks that they had to unify them into a coin belt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are ugly.
And the old World Tag Team Championships.
I'd go A just for nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A as well. I think again, it's kind of like with these titles. It's like they made you look like a champion, and it does have a good lineage with these as well.
Yeah.
Like the Hart Foundation, Legion of Doom. You had the Godwins. You had Smoking Guns. I don't know if that's really prestigious, but New Age Outlaws. You had all these guys. I think to me, it's
the belt we all grew up on. Yeah.
Also, Kane and Hurricane won these belts.
Yeah. There was a pairing from hell. No pun intended.
Next up, the original SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
I didn't like them.
Now, I want not to sway anybody, but these were first won by Kurt Angle and he who must shall not be named.
Mentioned, yeah. It wasn't CD.
I'll go with C. I still have great memories of this title, but they're not as good as the World Tag Team titles, though.
No, and they were never meant to be.
Yeah.
Again, Raw is always better than SmackDown.
Of course. Next up, we got the Old School Women's Championship.
That's a B.
Yeah.
It was a decent title. And I mean, China wore it, so it was a decent title.
It's also got a good lineage to it, too. You got Trish Stratus, Lita, China, Jazz, Jacqueline. Yeah, all these. Even Stephanie McMahon won it.
Yeah. Like, fans have to win a title sometime.
Oh, of course. I mean, Shane McMahon won a title. Vince even became the WWE champion at one point.
He became the WCW. He became the ECW champion. What are you talking about?
Also, and he won it while wearing a do-rag.
Yep.
Vince was a crazy guy back then. He's a crazy guy now.
Vince McMahon was an asshole because that was just to piss off. That was to piss off. What's his name?
Paul Heyman.
That was to piss off Heyman. And I know that was to piss off Heyman. I don't care what anybody says. That was to piss Heyman off.
I think Vince did it as a rib for like everybody back. They're just like,
now I hold your championship. How do you like me now?
This man was wearing a do-rag. He had like a shirt on. Yeah. This was the same year. Now that year was a really weird year for Mr. McMahon. He was the ECW champion. He then was in a limo which exploded.
Yeah.
And then Hornswoggle was revealed to be his son.
Yeah. Which was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy.
And then, of course, Mr. Kennedy failed the drug test. And then we got Hornswoggle, a.k.a. the destroyer of any good storyline.
And actually, we can't even tell the whole the whole Vince McMahon getting blown up in a limousine because we can't talk about a certain wrestler.
That is true. He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
If we ever do retro reviews and we have to come across one of his matches, we always have to say he who shall not be named.
Yep.
And we'll just pretend.
Oh, wait a minute. Was it Eddie Guerrero that died? Or was it him?
Eddie Guerrero died first in 2005, and then 2 years later then.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the storyline because basically what ends up happening is Vince McMahon gets blown up. And then the very next Raw, or 2 weeks ago, two weeks after that, he has to come out because a wrestler died. I think it was Eddie.
No, it was he who shall not be named because that was when he's like,
yeah.
Because he's like, we're not going to reference him tonight, and then they never talked about him since.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's I would even say like that incident really changed wrestling for the worst.
Yeah, it did.
And unfortunately, people blame Vince for the decline of wrestling. No, I blame that whole situation.
I blame Vince Russo.
That too. Next up is the
few other people.
European Championship.
CD.
Ooh, okay. I mean, I'll put it in C. I think it's just, again, it's kind of like these titles. It's just more like bland looking in a way. It's very flat, but it's still a good looking title though. Like if I saw a wrestler wearing it, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's a good looking title on him. It's very visually pleasing.
Yeah.
But it's not like D, F tier where it's like,
No. It's a nice title, but and it's actually one I wish they bring back, but well, they kind of did, but they kind of didn't.
But I still have like, I don't know. I actually got the Dawn of Attitude DVD and I watched the British Bulldog Owen Hart match for this. Very good match.
Oh yeah.
But then again,
you want to talk about a good match, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog in the UK.
So I got the History of Intercontinental Championship DVD, and that match was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And Davey Boy was half out of it. Imagine if he was full on top of his game.
Oh my god, that match would be god tier. But also, this title also has bad memories. Shawn Michaels, One Night Only, screwed British Bulldog out of that because he's like, I want to be a Grand Slam champion. And Vince was like, okay.
Yeah. The good old Shawn Michaels era.
What a
another gimmick. Another gimmick title. But it was a good gimmick title because it belonged to Mick Foley.
Yeah. I also heard rumors that this title was like the one that Mr. Perfect smashed.
No. That's been disproven now. But yeah, it was a long-standing rumor. But no.
But it would be cool though.
It would be cool. But yeah, no.
Next up, the Light Heavyweight Championship.
Yuck.
That's an F. That belt was just flat out ugly.
Yes, it was ugly.
Now, I don't know if Vince did that as like a rib and was just like, yeah, like no one's going to care about this, so here's an ugly belt.
Pretty much.
Because I actually don't think the Cruiserweight title is on here, the OG one. I think if the OG one was on here, I'd probably put it at C.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a bad-looking title, but it's not great either. Next up, the current NXT Championship.
BC.
I'm gonna say B because I think it gives me that World Heavyweight Championship vibes in a way.
Yeah.
And the World Heavyweight title is obviously better, but the design of the belt, again, it's way better than the first design.
Oh, that first design is crap. Oops, spoilers.
It is. But you also got to think, though, with this title, there's actually a lot of lineage to this one.
Yeah.
You had guys like Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano, Balor, all these guys win it. It makes the belt feel prestigious. Well, not really Gargano, but, But just overall, that title just looked good. And it always made you look like a champion.
I love this next title.
Oh, the UK Championship?
That goes to A. That is a beautiful looking belt.
And you
one of the best belts that WWE has come out with in a long time.
And you know what's funny?
Is a beautiful belt.
There's only been 2 champions in this title's lineage.
Yeah.
You only had Pete Dunne and Walter. And you know what? I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, it is a beautiful belt. Absolutely.
Very beautiful title. It looked a little big on Pete Dunne, though.
Just a little bit.
But it was the right amount of big. Like, it wasn't like too big to where it looked absolutely like clownish. But it was the nice amount. The old school NXT Championship.
Yuck.
The thing is, though, I would put it at D.
Yeah. I could go with that.
Because it's definitely not as bad as the coins.
No.
And it's definitely better than any of these titles here. Like, I think the thing is like with that title design, it grew on me. And it looked a lot better. Like, because again, you also had a very good lineage with this belt, too. You had Owen, Zayn, Balor, Joe, Nakamura. Like, all these guys held this belt. And for the most part, it looked good on everybody who wore it. But, that might just be me. I'm not usually a fan of, like, the thick straps, though.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the belt really calls for it.
I just think that X is gaudy.
Yeah, that X is really the only problem, which they definitely improved with this one.
You put the old Unity belt on D?
Yeah.
I would put it at L.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I could go there.
Do I want to put it in F? I don't think it's as bad as these belts though.
It was god. The fans hated it. It was god.
Yeah, I'll put it in F. The new women's NXT Women's Championship.
BC.
I'll put it B because it's basically the same title design as the gold belt or the but it's still a very good looking belt though too.
Yeah.
It's its own thing, but at the same time it's not. But again, it makes you look like a champion. Like it's not like the coin belts, which make you look like a joke.
Yeah, but here's the problem with WWE modern day. Okay, go cycle down for a second. Okay, all these belts look alike.
Yeah,
right. I mean, look at the World Championships. Look at the tag team belts. Right? Then you go, I mean, just look at the Raw tag team belts and the SmackDown belts before. They're not identical.
No, they look...
Modern days are identical, except different colored strap. They're the most uncreative, but that's WWE these days. It's the same belt, just different colored strap.
Yes, I agree with it.
I agree with that as well. Next up, the old school NXT Women's Championship.
It wasn't bad.
No, I would say it's C.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad. I would say it's not B tier, though. Like,
no.
It's not as bad as the Divas title. Like, at least it looked okay. But the silver is kind of what kind of... I'm not a big fan of all silver belts. Unless
and a pink on a belt. I don't care if it's for the women's division or not.
Yeah, like it's just ugh. But the newer NXT Tag Team Championships.
That's a nice belt.
It is. But is it A tier though?
Nah, B.
Yeah, B. They're good looking though, I will say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're nice.
Like I actually don't mind silver in my belt as long as it's only a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be. Especially if it's like a top tier title. Silver is not first place.
It's more for like second place.
Yeah.
Like if the IC title was silver, I'd be like, that's still a major title. Like I think the title has to be gold. But if you want
the IC title was always the workhorse.
Yeah.
Right? That's your workhorse title. Or the title that the guy gets before he gets the world championship. It's his trial test. It's his tester belt to see if he can handle it. To see if he can draw a crowd. That's the belt, the workhorse. And then you get the major title.
But I usually just say a little bit of silver is okay.
Oh yeah.
Just don't make your entire belt silver. Then it's just Next up, the NXT OG tag team titles. I don't think they're bad looking. For this one, I would go C.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah.
Because, again, I don't think they're bad looking titles. Like, they're definitely not universal title bad.
No.
They still have, like, a very nice design to it. We got the NXT UK tag team titles.
B.
Yeah, I could go there.
D. Ooh,
B.
okay. Oh, B?
B. Bravo.
B.
Sorry, I thought I heard D. But, yeah, I could go with B. I was like...
Yeah, it's a nice looking title. It pops.
Yeah, it has a different design to them. It's like not the coin belts. Like, it has its own unique design.
Yeah, it pops.
Like, and actually one of the things I like about NXT UK is they don't like have them. Well, I don't know how I would say this, but like when you have those titles, like they don't immediately put it on another person. Like they have them hold the belt for a very long time.
Yeah.
Which
well, UK wrestling is a little bit different than American wrestling too, so gotta look at it like that.
Oh yeah. Next up is the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Yeah, it's a nice title, but it does. I think it doesn't get to an A because it's too much like the men's belt in a lot of ways.
It is, but the white strap is a nice compliment, though.
Oh yeah, the white strap is nice. I like the white strap, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you added a white strap. Congratulations. You know, but I mean, look at the two titles; they're basically the same, except different colorations in certain spots.
Yeah, that's true. And then lastly, the NXT North American Championship.
B.
Yeah, B.
It kind of reminds me of like a boxing title.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And I will say the ladder match to determine the first North American champion was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And
it's not a bad title. But again, it's unfortunately turning into one of those belts that don't mean a lot.
Yeah. And Gargano just won the title for a third time, so
yeah, it's not something that, you know, if you held it, it was a big deal. It's just kind of giving a mid card or something to do.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Well, that is the tier list, and that I believe will about do it. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Keisha, Mr. CCDV, Arrow, EJ, Zach, Kavari, Emma, everybody who came in. I want to thank Rambling Canuck for joining us tonight. Good old Wrasslin. Very good conversation tonight. Very good. It was nice having someone else who knows a lot about wrestling.
Yes, I know too much about it.
Because I'm kind of like a know-it-all. Like if it's something that I haven't seen, I want to watch it. But if I haven't seen it, I always research.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm a wrestling fanatic. Like I'm somebody who enjoys wrestling. You know, and it's always nice to have some like Deshaun and Rambling to have like people to talk about that with, because after a while it's like I don't know, like it's just when it comes to like Star Wars and stuff, it's like after a while it's like there's just a lot of things about it that I love wrestling. Like wrestling to me is something that I'm passionate about.
Well, since this is a late night stream, and we are talking wrestling.
Yeah.
I think we should bring up some Attitude Era into this show to end it all. I think we should bring some Attitude Era. What do you think?
Yeah, why not?
All right. This has been our show, and if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you.
Fuck it.
Well, suck it, but close enough.
Yeah.
I still want the opening to Monday Night Raw on one of my shows, even though WWE will take me down faster than my head will spin. But do you remember the old intro to Raw with the Generation X?
Ooh, yes.
This show is not suitable for minors. Viewer discretion is advised, but it will be completely ignored.
Oh, that was so good. I also remember the one where it was like they had like all the wrestlers in a warehouse, and like Stone Cold was like walking down the path, and like there was all these explosions and such.
That was Raw is War.
Oh, that was so good.
Yep.
And just like I think like that's also another thing that kind of went down is like the intros.
Yeah, they suck now. Although I will say WWE still does a package great.
Oh yeah.
Put together a video package better than anybody else in the business.
And I know we were talking about WCW earlier. Like I actually recently rewatched the Guerrero Mysterio trilogy from WCW in '97. Ooh, good stuff.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Guess who? Did you hear that a past WCW champion actually made an appearance on the indie scene last year?
David Arquette.
Yeah,
I did hear about that.
because he was out to prove that he could actually do it.
But you know what, though? I got to give him credit, though.
He's a fucking idiot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he is, but I got to give him credit, though. Like I would say he is passionate about wrestling, and because again, let's be honest, it wasn't his fault that he won the title.
No, that was Vince Russo.
That was Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff's BS.
That was just Vince Russo. I don't think Eric Bischoff was there at that time.
I thought he was, because like there was like a tag match on Thunder. It was like Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff versus DDP and David Arquette for the WCW title, because we obviously had to have a world title in a tag.
Because he won the title in that stupid triple tier cage that was in the movie.
Oh,
that's where he won the title.
And then and then Jeff Jarrett won it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was publicity for the movie is all it was.
Man, WCW in 2000 was a mess.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble. Remember how well that did at the box office. Oh, wait, it never hit the box office. It was straight to DVD.
Remember when they did a hard reset and then they vacated all the titles?
Mm-hmm.
That was stupid.
Oh.
They were going to do a storyline with Sid and Hogan, and then they were like, nope, we're going to vacate the title now. And then they're just like, well, shit.
It's because Sid broke his fucking leg jumping off the middle rope.
Oh my God, that was awful. But if you look at the situation beforehand, it's actually a very funny story. Because Johnny Ace, the guy wanted to do the move. Sid was like, no. And then he's like, no. I want to do the move. You should do the move. And it's not even the finishing move. It's a move in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
Just
broke his fucking leg doing it.
Just to expand his repertoire.
Yep.
Johnny Ace is a moron.
Yes, he is. People power be damned. He's an idiot.
People power. God, that was bad too. 2012. John Laurinaitis as the interim Raw general manager, and then he became the general manager of both brands.
Uh-huh.
Why? That was bad.
Yep.
Oh, man. We'll talk about what would be some good attitude? Ooh, ECW, man. So, really?
Yeah.
Because I actually have the ECW box set, the Rise and Fall of ECW.
The problem with ECW was it was just blood, gore, and I don't know. It's just you were supposed to believe that, okay, this guy got beat up with this, and then the next week he's back fresh as a daisy. Where they damn near killed him the day before. It was just, I was never a big fan of the hardcore wrestling thing. The, thumbtacks or stuff like that. It was just, ugh.
But though, when I played WWE, because I also play the wrestling games, like when I played WWE 13, there was the Attitude Era mode. It made me want to go back and watch all those matches again. Because that, I feel like, is what it should do with a mode like that. Like, with the DX path, like there was the Hell in a Cell match between Shawn and Taker, and I'm like, ooh, I want to watch this again.
Yeah.
Because that's also a very good match. And
either one.
Dude, Shawn and Taker always had really good matches.
Yeah. If you want to see a really stupid match, you have Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon and God.
Oh my God. That was a real match.
That was a real match, yeah.
I was like, oh my, like this was around the time where Vince was going through a midlife crisis again. This was his third midlife crisis ever.
But it still wasn't as stupid as Buff Bagwell's mum on a pole match.
Nothing will be stupider than that.
Just saying.
I don't understand what they were thinking with Judy Bagwell on a pole.
It wasn't even a pole; it was a forklift. You know, whatever.
God, that was bad.
Or you build up Goldberg's streak only for it to be fucking lost because he got tasered. Or the finger poke of doom. How about that for a fucking...
Oh, better yet, they reformed NWO in 1999 with Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, and the Outsiders.
Yeah.
With I think the Basham brothers.
Oh, the worst thing I've ever seen, or the funniest part I ever saw of Bret Hart in WCW, which is actually the only funny one there, was one of the angles between Bret Hart and Goldberg, who can kiss my ass because he took Bret Hart out of wrestling for life, bastard. Anyway, is the time that he speared Bret Hart and Bret Hart had the steel plate. That was funnier than hell.
Oh my God, that was awesome. He speared him, and then Bret was like, "I quit," and then he just threw the mic away and left.
He speared him, and then he's out cold after spearing him, and Bret gets up and lifts up the jersey, and he's got a steel plate underneath his stomach.
Oh, that was so good. Man, dude, Bret was so underutilized in WCW, though.
Oh my God, it was a joke. They had Bret Hart after the screw job. And then they fucked up an entire year storyline between Hogan and Sting because they botched the ending. But it
was supposed to be a fast count, and then he just went 1, 2,
Yep.
3. It was like the slowest count ever, and it's like, wait.
Yep, totally botched the ending, made Bret Hart look like an idiot for coming out. Yep.
I mean,
stupid mistake. Yeah, it was absolute bullshit.
But one of my favorite matches that Bret Hart was actually in WCW, and that was the Owen Hart tribute match.
Yeah.
That was with He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Yes.
And then they had a rematch the few months later for the WCW title, and that match sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was around the time where it was interference galore.
Oh yeah, well that was trademark.
It's like, well, who's coming out next? Who's coming out next?
Yeah.
Look, it's Judy Bagwell.
Yeah. That wouldn't actually surprise me back then.
Man, just...
And then there's the storylines that shall not be named, such as the Katie Vick.
Katie Vick. Don't even want to talk about Katie Vick. That's just revolting all in itself.
Or, there's the Trish Stratus barking like a dog in the middle of the ring.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, wasn't that good shit?
How about
Stephanie McMahon and what's her face going in the mud? That was great. Vicky Guerrero.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
Remember that? You remember that? Man, you had that contest, Kiss Your Ass.
Oh yeah, the Kiss My Ass Club. Yeah.
Or
the best WrestleMania match ever, a McMahon in every corner.
Oh yeah, that was so good. However, it is not the worst WrestleMania main event, though.
No, it is not. That would be Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar 1.
Oh god, that match sucked.
Yeah.
I thought my entire life flashed before my eyes. It was so bad.
Brutal.
But
that match was brutal.
I was gonna say John Cena versus The Miz.
That was brutal too. Yeah.
That was the match where John Cena actually gave Miz a concussion because he did a tackle on him and his back of his head at the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that WrestleMania was bad.
I was about to say what was my person the Undertaker?
Roman Reigns versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. That was bad too.
Yeah, but that was because, and the Undertaker's even come out and said he never should have been in the ring at that point. That was just, yeah. And I mean, the other one that I thought was bullshit is Brock Lesnar never should have got the streak. Never.
Oh, I agree with that.
Brock Lesnar didn't need it. It wasn't something that Brock should have ever got. It didn't elevate Brock at all. It's just, if anything, it should have gone down the way Taker wanted it to, which was Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It should not have been Brock. Of all people to beat that fucking streak, it should not have been Brock. Brock didn't need it.
But just imagine the nuclear heat that Roman would have got if he
Exactly.
broke the streak.
Exactly. That would have been the perfect heel turn. Absolutely.
WrestleMania 33, have Roman break the streak. Everyone's booing the fuck out of him. I'd be like, this is great.
Yep.
And then you do the tribal chief stuff there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Like
Out there to take a streak. I am King God now. This is my yard. That would have made that whole promo way better when he came out and said it's my yard now. That would have been because he beat the streak.
That
when he
segment,
beat the Undertaker, he did. There was nothing. There was nothing left.
That segment though is very underrated. Like he just stood in the ring for like 5 minutes and everyone was booing him. Like that was so good.
Yep. But again, it comes down to oops, a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here because it is 12:53.
Yep.
But I do want to thank Rambling for coming on. This was absolutely a pleasure having you. You are always welcome back again.
Anytime.
I might have to make you a member now since you're the only other person who knows wrestling.
Yeah, I know a whole bunch of useless information when it comes to that topic.
Oh man, but it's so good. It's such good stuff. I'm gonna let everybody go around the panel one more time and let everybody know where they can find you at. Rambling, we'll start with you. Where can they find you at?
Either Rambling Canuck on Twitter or on YouTube, or History with R&R, where I do a history program with Admiral of Doom. Check out either channel. We just got to 100 on History with R&R, so we're really excited. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Very nice. Deshaun, where can they find you at?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, King23. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord server, and that hits.
Very nice. You guys can find me on my channel, The Austinator, where I just recently hit over 100 subscribers. I'm probably going to be doing a celebration stream tomorrow, depending on what time. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. It's going to be a fun stream. We're going to play some games. It's just going to be a fun old time. And I do 3 shows per week. I do a show, Shadow Eye, on Sundays, where recently we've been reviewing The Office. We're going to be reviewing Season 3 on Sunday. Thursdays, I usually do a show called Splash Talk, but then I might move it to Wednesday because Thursday is indeed Christmas Eve. And Splash Talk, we're just going to be reading fan fiction, and then we're going to bullshit around the remainder of the time. And then I do a Friday stream, Good Old Wrasslin, where we just talk wrestling. Next episode will probably be a TLC review, and then I do want to start bringing maybe retro reviews to this.
Well, I have an offer for you. So you do fan fiction?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do fan films?
I mean, I haven't done fan films, but I would love to do them.
Okay. Well, I happen to know Vance Major, who has done over 100 Star Trek fan films.
Ooh.
And I happen to know that I could probably get him on your channel if you wanted.
Oh, that would be cool.
Just saying.
Ooh. That'd be cool. I'd probably have to watch I'd have to probably watch some Star Trek though, because I am not very informed when it comes to it.
That's okay. He has his own stories, so you just have to watch the things. Look on YouTube. Look up No Budget Productions, and just take a look at some of those videos. I think you'd like them.
All right, I'll check them out. I'll definitely check out Good Old Productions. Sounds interesting. I've been wanting to get into Star Trek, but I just lately.
Yeah, just look up No Budget Productions, and take a look at some of his work. Some of it is really good.
All right, I'll check it out, and I'll check that out. And I got a Twitter at the Oscinator17. If you ever want to message me there, go ahead and do so. And I have Discord at the Oscinator, so hit me up on either any of those. And with that being said, though, guys, that is about done it. This is the Oscinator, Ramblin' Canuck, and Deshaun signing out.